Rise and fight.
Hello and welcome back everyone to BSL18. We are at the final remaining group of the round of 24. This is Group F, of course. I'm Machine, and joining me today is fellow Polish commentator Cat's Paw. Hey, how's it going, Cat's Paw?
Hello everyone. Hi, nice to be here. Thank you very much for the introduction, Machine.
Of course, man. Well, I'm gonna be, leaning a lot on your Protoss expertise because we have three very serious Protoss competitors in this group today, alongside Jimin, a well-known North American Zerg player. So this is definitely going to be a complicated group. First match of the day, just to kick things off, is going to be a Polish Protoss player, MiStrZZZ, going up against North American or Canadian, Protoss player in Doodle. So gonna be a pretty excited match, just to kind of kick things off. Cat's Paw, you must know so much about MiStrZZZ. How do you think his chances are going into this first series today?
From what I've seen, he's been very active. He's been streaming a lot, and he's been practicing against decent opponents. He's also been trying to find some players to play with and practice well all of his matchups. So I would say his chances are pretty decent. I don't know that much about DoodleDoodle, so it's very hard a little bit to say if I would lean more on MiStrZZZ winning this, but I definitely think he has a chance to win this first one.
I know MiStrZZZ is definitely a very old school competitive player, playing back in the TOT days. I know, just been such a strong player for so many years. Doodle, I can say I've actually played, a little bit, being a fellow North American. Definitely a new up-and-comer. Definitely, a Protoss that isn't afraid to take some risks. When I think of Doodle's play, he obviously has a very strong standard game, but isn't, adverse to maybe throwing a double proxy gate out on the map or solo proxy gate PvP. So he definitely, is going to have some problems here for MiStrZZZ, but we'll have to see how MiStrZZZ can kind of react to this. So yeah, should be an exciting one, folks, just to get today kicked off here.
Yeah, also very important is to see how aggressive they want to play. I'm very interested in the maps as well once we get to them, because that tells a lot.
Alongside Jimin, a well-known North American Zerg player. So
let's wait and see, but hopefully we'll see really interesting builds, because PvP, especially early game, very volatile.
Yeah, extremely volatile. Especially like you're saying, there's a big difference of how you open a PvP on a 4-player map as opposed to something like a 2-player map like Neo Dark Origin, right? I know a lot of Protoss players really like to favor those proxy single proxy gates outside of natural or something like that, or even in the back of the main on a map like Neo Dark Origin. So it could be very scary PvP.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to see how they want to open it up. Also, scouting for important. First probe was going to see how much information can you gather, and you see where the gas is going. So a lot of interesting things in the very early game.
Very true. Very, very true. Yeah, it can kind of, it's definitely a matchup where you can't really get too greedy, right? A lot of the times the Protoss that expands first is usually the first to like have an opening, you know, be able to be countered, whether that's a Reaver timing, 3-gate, DT, you know, it kind of pays to be aggressive a lot of the time in this matchup, it feels like.
I think that there are, at least in nowadays, it's not that common to see many Protosses go more than like the original expansion. Like 2 bases against 2 bases is the most common, mostly because micro battles can turn around the game so quickly that one good Reaver shot, 2 good Reaver shots, and the game might end. So it's not very common to see the same type of games that we see in different matchups where people are expanding all over the map. It sometimes will happen, but it's less likely, less common. So that is something also to take in consideration.
Yeah, of course. I mean, those Reavers just such a pivotal unit in this matchup. I mean, anytime you think of PvP highlights, I think of Bonneth, right? Or, you know, even DeWalt and their Reaver control killing off, you know, 6-7 probes you know, at a time. It's crazy what you can really accomplish with just a, you know, a shuttle and a Reaver in this matchup. But yeah, with that, folks, it looks like map 1 going to be Neo Dark Origin. As expected, you know, 2-player map for, you know, PvP. Things could get hairy here, but with this, both of our players are ready, folks. So let's go ahead and jump into game number 1, MiStrZZZ versus Doodle on Dark Origin. And spawning top left as the pink Protoss, it is MiStrZZZ.
And we got at the bottom right in the teal Protoss, it is Doodle ×2 or DoodleDoodle.
Here we go, man. We got the player cameras too.
Yeah, the MiStrZZZ is very, very, very focused. Doodle
Very focused.
relaxed. Doodle
Yeah, exactly.
Relaxed. That's so pretty cool.
Doodle definitely looks a little more relaxed. MiStrZZZ, I mean, he's intent, man. He is staring daggers through his monitor right now.
So I think very important, as you mentioned, let's see both pilots are in the first and the main, so it doesn't seem like either one of them is going to be pushing aggressively from the get-go, especially because it is a 2-player map. That was a possibility. First thing, I guess, 1-gate, 2-gate, we'll see about that if somebody is going to be aggressive, but I'm very interested in seeing how well they can control and probe alive and what kind of information they can gather, especially from the first scout. Now we see the first gate from here, MiStrZZZ, and we're waiting for Doodle as well, probably the same thing. It's going to be interesting that neither one of them is going to scout before the first gate. This means they are aware that because they are going to be able to scout without any problems, since it's a 2-player map, they're not too worried about the idea. Oh, we see already Doodle checking the top, trying to make sure there is no hidden gateways. So he already is thinking about that possibility. But he's going to be the first one to scout, which is important because he can adjust his build. Probably not a lot based on what MiStrZZZ is doing. It's a very standard opening so far from both players. And
so do you think that maybe Doodle loses out by sending that probe out to scout, just the eco damage?
Depends a lot on what kind of play MiStrZZZ wanted to do. Like, if you want to do something a little bit sneaky and the probe is there for longer, it kind of puts a timer on you because you are delaying things. If you see, for example, oh, my range has already started, you are not starting it. So where is that gas going? Are you saving it for later? You might get some information, but I think this is just to confirm that this is not an aggressive opening. I think that's why he scouted his main. I believe he is confident in that one probe is not going to be enough of a difference for him.
I see. Well, yeah, he absolutely does get that first scout off. And as you mentioned, Mr. is still in the dark. Not that there's a threat at the moment, but, you know, sometimes there's just kind of an ease of mind, at least knowing what your opponent's doing here, which Doodle, you know, obviously has that scouting info. So let's see how this affects that.
That's also really useful. So he knows that, okay, if there's a first alert, probably not that much of a reason to send my own unless I want to put pressure myself. You can see that he is actually decided to stay on this map, and this is probably to deny a scout from MiStrZZZ.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with that probe. Hasn't taken any damage. Saw the timing of the Dragoon range there for MiStrZZZ. MiStrZZZ is sending a probe out of his own. I don't know if this must be to scout, I guess.
At this point, I
Oh.
think the Dragoon is already out. Maybe he was thinking about dropping some building at the front if this was some aggressive attack, and he would see with his first unit, like, oh, I need, say, a shield battery on my ramp. And maybe
Oh, I
that's
see.
what he was doing it. That's the only thing that right now comes to my mind. We see a robo. And this is interesting. Doodle is putting that robo in the very, very front. What this means is that he will probably want to use that robo for later, for moving a Reaver down to defend. This can be scouted, though.
I see.
This can be scouted. Means if a Dragoon just moves close enough and sees this, this tells pretty much Mr. what exactly Doodle wants to do. So let's see, just a little bit of poke probably. Let's see, no damage being taken. That's important, especially at the early stages. Since both players are playing with low gateways, I think we just added a second gateway. And it seems like, oh, nice move by Doodle. So he understands that the army was coming back. And now he checks again with his Dragoon to make sure that he can now get in with the probe. Very smart play, very
Wow.
smart play.
Yeah, very, very nice here. And it looks like he
Using the
will get
decoy.
a scout off.
Yeah, using that decoy with the Dragoon, very smart. And he should, oh my god.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no. One. Oh, he sees,
Oh.
and I think that's the second gate. Yeah, that's the second gate that was more away. That's not the first gate. So he should know it's 2 gate.
Yes. Did not
Okay.
see the robo, though. So I guess that's something. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
3 gate, even out of Doodle.
And Observer. So 2 gates, because he's on 2 gates, he's playing with the role. Relatively standard by both players. One is just going a little bit more aggressive with 3 gates against 2 gates. This is probably fine for both of them. Nobody should be able to just win just because of the travel distance. So neither one can really win a fight. Unless
This is interesting. I thought he was going to mine out the back there and maybe try to sneak top right. I was like, that's weird.
I think that mostly that doesn't make it doesn't work very well for process because you can't defend well 2 locations that are separate in PvP because of, for example, Reavers or, for example, just a few zealots going in. It's too much of a problem. You want to be able to focus more on your core buildings, your core army that is closer to everything. And okay, so Doodle knows that he has a gateway advantage because he did scout 2 gates. Maybe you could have 3 gates there, but he scouted 2. Question is he going to just poke with this and look, or is he going to try to do damage? Because he is producing a lot of units. Observer going to get... No, they're going to pass each other.
Ooh.
This
Yeah,
means
that's...
that... Yeah, MiStrZZZ knows this is coming.
Yeah, this is really good for MiStrZZZ. Does pull back. Looks like he's getting in a pretty good position to here, putting down a pylon to tank some of the damage. And here we go. I think MiStrZZZ should hold this. No problem.
He should hold this, and especially because this is relatively straightforward micro. So yeah, it's going to be just an exchange. This is risky from both of the players because you don't know if there are more units that are just going to pop out of gateways. But while that's happening, Doodle is getting an expansion, and he's getting scouted by the Observer. So MiStrZZZ knows exactly what this is. Is MiStrZZZ going to be going something else? Reverse expansion himself. I think this is...
He does have
he
a
has
support
triggers.
bay with Reaver.
Which
Yeah.
means that he's gonna slowly expand himself. Oh, this is really good right now for MiStrZZZ because he is not only exchanging army, but he has the Reaver right now.
Yeah, that was a great Reaver shot.
If the
Second
shuttle is
Scarab.
in production, this can punish the expansion of Doodle. I don't know if the shuttle is right now in production, but if it is, this could punish it.
MiStrZZZ even dropping a Nexus of his own, so trying to catch up on base count as well. But yeah, if this shuttle's being made and a Reaver's out on the field here, I don't think Doodle really has anything other than Dragoon tech to deal with it.
Yeah, and the Dragoons are even heavily rused, which makes it even worse.
Wow, MiStrZZZ is getting really aggressive here.
This might this might be game. Like it's so like there are 3 gateways, but you might need to just sack the expansion and go up. I don't think the Reaper is coming though because I don't see the shuttle coming in. So maybe this is fun.
I'm sure he has to be making a
Is it
shuttle.
crawling slowly and throw them out? No, it's not.
Yeah, I think it is, sir. I think that's the slow moving thing moving across the map.
Okay, we should be now careful.
Yep, there he is. He's coming in, man.
The thing is that could still work.
It will.
No, you can't use the probes to defend against the Reaver. That's the most important thing.
Here we go.
Oh, is he gonna target the
After
Reaver?
all that work.
Oh, nice shot. Dragoons are not in the best position, but they're still getting the damage.
No way.
The Reaver
Wow, Super
shoot.
Reaver.
Yeah, and the Reaver's gonna kill all the probes now.
Yeah,
So
the
this
damage
is-
is already done.
Yeah, I mean, this is game, probably. I don't see much of a chance for Doodle to recover from this. He has his own Reaver, but he's lost a little bit too many probes. And this is gonna give a massive lead. Oh, one shot, but that Reaver is on a mission.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's got so many kills here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good Reaver. And there are more Dragoons coming. Oh,
His buddy's walking across the map.
I love this. You don't need shuttles. Okay, from now on, that's you don't need shuttles in this matchup. Just make the second one and rally into your opponent's main.
Yeah, just rally him across the map.
I love it. I love it.
Oh wow.
I think
a dominant position here.
The problem is that even if Doodle now tries to do something like a shuttle drop to try to even the game somehow, there's an observer right on top of his robo. So MiStrZZZ knows everything that's happening right now.
Yeah, he's just got perfect information there. I mean, he's out mining. At the same time, he doesn't really even need to push up the ramp, right? He could just kind of hold the bottom of that ramp, and there's nothing Doodle's going to be able to do.
It's very risky because you could basically give up the lead that you've gotten from. Oh, there it is. There's going to be, but you probably still see the two Reavers. If you go up the ramp and you lose your army, then suddenly the game is again even. So no point to do that.
Yeah.
And I think oh, we can see that there's another Reaver and also Shadow. This is gonna get worse and worse, I guess, for Doodle.
Here we go. Looks like Doodle trying to re-engage, pick off that one Reaver, but unable to do so. And yeah, I mean, MiStrZZZ is just doing a great job moving up this ramp now, targeting down the first Reaver. This has to be GG.
Yeah, but very well played though, to going up that ramp. Although Doodle did kind of mess up a little bit, but yeah, very well played by MiStrZZZ. So the first game will go to him, and well, with the unconventional, let's say, Reavers that walk.
Yeah, the Reavers that just walk across the map. That's the next timing, I guess. You know, but man, very well done there from MiStrZZZ to take a game one victory. It's going to be up to Doodle now to kind of pick his map and see, you know, how he's going to end up changing his game plan in order to kind of combat, you know, MiStrZZZ. But MiStrZZZ definitely not a one-trick pony, right? He could very much open completely differently this next game, whatever the map, you know, is. So I'm kind of interested to see what MiStrZZZ will even choose to, you know, as far as adjusting his own play style based on game one here. So.
Yeah, I think he's not going to change much, based on the fact that, well, Reaver opening is like relatively stable, and when the game goes this well for you, you usually don't want to gamble too much, unless you just want to be, let's say, trying one game something a little bit crazy, and then maybe going back to what you know. So we'll see, but the scout was there from Doodle. He did have the information initially, so. Let's see if he wants to try something different. I know he's probably thinking, okay, I want to do something different this time.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, like you said, MiStrZZZ opened 2-gate into Robo, Obs, then, you know, Reaver after that. About as middle of the road and safe as you really could against anything. So he's got to be feeling pretty confident, you know, getting such a strong win in game number one here. But, yeah.
I would also say that it was very interesting that Doodle already went for the 3 gates, which is a little bit more like on aggressive side, but that didn't really pay off in the micro battle, which is very problematic for him because you obviously want to be doing damage with that, and since it didn't work and MiStrZZZ held it pretty well, yeah, it's gonna be hard to figure out something.
Yeah, definitely. It was a big committal, but, you know, it's such a big map, it felt like even, you know, despite having the 3rd gateway and additional Dragoon production, he didn't really have an advantage in numbers by the time he got across the map, so...
yeah, it's about the time that it takes for the Dragoon to build, so yeah. It's not really... it's something good if you can defensively fight or in the middle, but if you're doing it and attacking, it's much less effective, essentially.
Okay.
All right. Well, interesting though. Again, this was a 2-player map, which changes a lot of things. Let's see if the next map is also 2-player, 4-player, 3-player. We'll see, because that changes quite a bit how you want to play any kind of opening, since you might not even be allowed to scout.
Sure. Vermeer was banned, you said? Sorry. Okay, so Vermeer's been banned, so it won't be Vermeer. We know that much. Could be Apocalypse, could be Citadel, you know, like you're saying, 4-player map, 3-player map. If I'm Doodle, maybe after losing on a 2-player map, I want to get off of that style of map, I would say, just to change things. But who knows?
Yeah, it's tricky to me for also because PvP is not a matchup that I know that well, and it's very difficult to know exactly like how much you can get away with a push, with an aggressive play. So, for example, with 2 gates, what do you want to do after 2 gates? When do you drop your gas? When do you start typical production? You need to be able to read your opponent and know whether the damage you're doing is worth it or not, whether they should be pulling the zealots back. This is very, very difficult and tricky thing to, at the beginning, do very well. So, well, let's see how Doodle wants to play it, because if he's choosing the map, he probably has at least an idea of what he wants to try.
Absolutely. Especially, you know, if it's a map that he feels like he might have an advantage on, just given a certain playstyle or an opener that he's been practicing. So we'll have to see what that ends up being. I'm assuming he maybe wants to switch up, pick a 4-player map, but who knows? I think Citadel could be good here for PvP.
It's a problem with PvP because it's like a problem that cuts both ways, right? If you get a big map, then maybe you can hide something, but the same goes for your opponent. So it's a little bit tricky. Oh, there we go. So it's going to be Retro.
Retro, great map though. Definitely seems to be a big favorite of a lot of the folks that have been playing so far this season of BSL. I think this map was picked at least 4 or 5 times yesterday, you know, by plenty of Terrans. So no surprise it's getting picked here as well for a PvP.
Initially, when in the previous map, there were these 3 bridges. Usually that is a choke point that you can abuse to defend or like not let somebody cross. That didn't happen in the previous game because we lost a little bit too many dragons from the side of DoodleDoodle, and then MiStrZZZ was able to just walk through it. In here, however, you don't really have anything like that. The areas are mostly open except those small little bridges from the natural that open into this larger circle in the middle.
Yes.
But there are a lot of possibilities to drop with Reavers into the natural, because there is basically no way to actually protect that unless you have already vision. So again, good map for Reavers, especially early on if you want to be aggressive with them, and you can show them at the natural, drop from another side. There's a lot of options. But
yeah, it looks like a great map for Reavers. A lot of high ground ramps too to defend with Reavers, which is nice.
The only thing I don't know exactly is if, again, usually this matchup doesn't go into the 3 bases because it's not common. But if it does go in this map in particular, it's pretty good for taking a 3rd base because of the 12 and 6 o'clock.
Well, with that, folks, it sounds like both of our players are ready to go here. So let's jump into game number 2, MiStrZZZ versus Doodle on Retro. And spawning bottom left as the red Protoss, it is Doodle.
And at the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, is going to be MiStrZZZ. Okay, so question now is that both at the bottom, with this actually favors, I believe, Doodle a little bit because of the situation that we talked about the natural. The risk is only mostly from the side of MiStrZZZ, as he has to defend his natural if something goes flying. Whereas for Doodle, you'd have to go a little bit around to get to the natural from that area. And
I see.
We don't see anything in terms of something strange. Both players are putting their pylons in their main. However, Doodle is putting it next to the ramp, so he can protect the ramp, whereas we see that MiStrZZZ is just putting it next to his minerals. So a little bit more income for MiStrZZZ, but nothing really that is noticeable.
Gotcha. Huh. Yeah, we noticed last game, Doodle also liked to put his robo near his ramp, so maybe the pylons just for that later on too? I don't know.
It could help as well, but this is more like for a shield battery, if you really need it. It's not
gotcha.
very common, but if you really need a shield battery suddenly, then you can drop it with that pylon without really remembering that you needed one in there. Or sometimes to be more aggressive. Oh, I think I see MiStrZZZ going for double gates. So he is changing this up. He has decided that he won the first game and he wants to do something a little bit. Oh, and he's going to get a really good scout because he now knows where that probe was coming from. That probe didn't go top and then down.
It's also, you know, obviously close positions like this should be a shorter rush distance from base to base here, so might be a good call for MiStrZZZ. Still, though, you know, on the flip side of the coin, Doodle does end up scouting this early enough that he should have plenty of time to react. You'd already mentioned the shield battery possibility placement on, you know, the pylon, so maybe that's what, you know, exactly what Doodle needs to do to adjust here, deal with this pressure.
Strangely, Doodle has not added his second gateway. He's still playing on one gate. Now you can defend this way, but it gets a little bit trickier if the opponent is cycling these zealots very quickly. It's not about whether they are cycling them to attack.
Oh wow! Got a probe. Wow, crazy! I can't believe we got a probe.
It's gotta be annoying.
Yeah, that's always frustrating when that happens.
The only thing I wish Doodle would do is block the minerals with a pylon, because when you want to be doing this as a Protoss, you're doing double gates. You usually don't want to keep your zealots in the main, and if you put a block there, it usually lasts for a long time. Oh, MiStrZZZ doing another probe. I think this is mostly to annoy Doodle a lot, like basically a mind game, because now you've lost 2 probes to my probes.
Yeah.
That's a pretty annoying thing as another player. Let's see, 1 Dragoon, 1 Zealot against 3 Zealots. The Dragoon is coming out to try to already start shooting at them, but very important is how are you going to micro these 2 units. Now, there is no shield battery so far, and this Zealot is going to get caught. Not yet, yes.
Yeah, he's caught. Wow.
Okay, not bad micro so far, but there's still 3 Zealots in your main. You need to keep putting pressure with this Dragoon all the time. How much damage is 3 Zealots in the main is a lot of possible damage.
Yeah, all the damage has been evenly distributed on those zealots too, which is not great. Like, none of them are even really close to dead yet. They're just still able to get in to this mineral line. 1 probe finally falls.
Only 1 probe still for
2? Yeah, not 2. 3.
3. Okay, 3 is already good. 2 would be like not that good of an investment. I think that's another 4. I think that's the one 4. 4 plus the 2 original, that's 6. If I'm counting correctly. Yeah. The probe count is pretty low. Here's the worst part. Yes, you have already the Dragoons, but you have only 1 gate. So you wouldn't want to try to be aggressive yourself. And going for the Robo is a pretty good call, because you're trying to have the lead in the tech, since you know that your opponent had to delay his own tech. If you add a Reaver and then push with 3 gates, 2 gates, there is a possibility to do something. I don't really like this move out, because this is risky, right? If you don't lose any Dragoons, if you don't take any whole damage, that's fine. You can scout with it, but it's very risky. If MiStrZZZ catches up on this and even lands 1 full volley of the Dragoons.
And yeah, already took unnecessary damage there, so he's gonna be forced to back off.
That's fine. So far that's fine. But he shouldn't stay here, because once the range finishes for MiStrZZZ, this is risky to be reading the Dragoons there. But, I mean, he's gonna see it, he's gonna move out in time, that's fine. He's adding a second gateway. Let's see if he's going to be going for Reavers or not, because the economy now is going to be noticeable. I mean, you see how big the situation is for MiStrZZZ in the probe line?
Yeah, it's definitely sizable. I mean, he's starting to pull away, and supply, we see a 5 supply advantage there already. Does have a Robo, at least almost up of his own as well.
Yeah, so far this game is going better for me. The Reaver, okay, there's the Reaver. So the Reaver tech is going to be sooner for Doodle. If he has the timing with this, and he could push with this and do damage. The question is he going to be able to scout the army of MiStrZZZ, and is he going to be able not to like take unnecessary damage to the shuttle? Because that can't stop the push right away. But I see that MiStrZZZ wants to be aggressive himself. Interesting. So now this could backfire if MiStrZZZ goes too aggressive. 3 Zealots, 4 or 5 Dragoons.
Yeah, there's no way he's gonna move up that ramp though. Oh, why'd you send a probe down? Oh man. Okay,
he's going. Yeah.
Just takes a little damage.
Yeah, backs up pretty smartly. So right now, again, Reaver is the O expansion. Interesting. Okay, very interesting. Now, it's really up to the Reaver push, because if the Reaver push doesn't kill Mish, the game probably ends right there.
I mean, you did mention, due to the positioning, it is a little easier here for Doodle to harass Mistress's natural with Reaver drop. Maybe that's a way, if the push fails, he could continue to stay in the game, but we'll have to see.
I think that that's going to be difficult, because if you do that and you don't expand yourself, you still are in probably even territory only. I think you need to break and push with it. I will see how Doodle wants to play it. Like, he might expand after the Reaver because he's gonna feel safe. That's like, there are options here. When you start the Nexus as a Protoss in PvP, you don't really get that much far ahead for a few minutes. You need to still get enough economy to kick in with more gates and everything else. So you have a windows to recover, especially when you have tech. But how far that can be stretched is much harder to tell. And oh, we have an observer already, so the observer is going to see that there's 2 Reavers. Also, we have Reavers and Shuttle from Mish this time as well. If he has Reavers down here, if Mish has Reavers in this position with Shuttle, almost impossible to get out.
Yeah, that would feel like game. Here we go. I think Zealots are being shoved down the ramp. Oh, Dragoons
with the Reaver. Oh, they're not hitting. What the? What the hell? Come on, man. How unlucky can you get? Like, both of those scarabs did not do anything until the last second.
That was pretty rough.
Oh, he lost 1 Reaver, I think, even for that fight.
Yeah, he sure did.
Oh.
He does have a shuttle now. I think he's just got to go. He's got to try to get some damage. It's not going to work. There's already a Reaver and a shuttle for...
And look where the Dragoons for Mistress are in the 6th of position. He's already expecting that there is a possibility of a shuttle drop. Okay, he is probably going with this. 5 Zealots. This may... I don't think it's gonna work, but I don't know if he has... I don't know if Doodle has a lot of other options at this point. Because he's expanding. So he might want to... Oh, he's gonna scout these Dragoons. That might prompt him to be aggressive. Very nice. Look at the probe position to see if this is where Doodle...
That was very nice. Yeah,
so he knows
that was very nice.
He's backing up now with the Dragoons because he knows that this is where the attack will come from. And preparing for a sandwich with a shield battery with the Reaver. Yeah, Doodle realizes there's no way I'm breaking this. So the game is going to continue from this position, and probe count is still probably higher for base, but with the amount of gates that we are adding as Doodle, you could, if there is a misstep, by Mish with his army, this can still go up either way because of the Reavers. However, we've seen that, there is a Reaver coming in, and it's been scouted with the Observer. Is the army moving backwards to intercept this?
I think it is, but it might be a little late. Probes being transferred to the natural here. 2 Dragoons dropping down. Oh, it's a double Reaver drop.
You need more than that. Nice micro though from the Reavers to take as little damage as possible.
Not bad from Doodle either. Not a massive amount of probes have fallen yet. That shuttles are also already weak. Oh, that was huge though. Massive scarabs there from Mistress.
Yeah. I mean, so this is really... Oh no, the scarabs. Yeah, okay, that's not that many probes, but it could have been terrible. So this really puts Doodle in a bad position because he lost so many units there that even though he killed those 2 Reavers, there's no way he can be aggressive.
Yeah.
Which means you could technically, as Mish, expand right now because he would essentially be safe forever. He wants to be aggressive, which also will work probably. Like the army supply is just too massive.
Yeah, it's almost 30 supply advantage for Misters here. I mean, Misters is just looking in top form.
I mean, 3 Reavers though is no joke. You're not engaging that. If you engage,
I don't think he has to.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. He can he can expand. Oh, and he should definitely get to Templar at this point. Like this is the moment when you know, okay, the game is very, very cemented on 2 bases. We can start thinking about High Templars or expanding. But either one of these is fine. But you have to respect the Reaver. I think this can be dangerous if there are more than 3 Reavers. You might use like bridges like this to essentially nullify the army advantage. I mean, you're a Zerg, you probably know how difficult it is if you're trying to push like through a small choke and there are Reapers. Just hammer
Oh, certainly. Yeah, even with Dark Swarm.
and
It's the only thing that counters Dark Swarm.
Without glitching on each other, right? So
Right.
this is very tricky for him because he has a lot of Dragoons, but that doesn't really work in this position. And he is, I see he's just taking a lot of vision on the 6 o'clock, very smartly to make sure that nothing was going to fly through there. Yeah, he's just going to try to contain DoodleDoodle on these 2 bases. And
it looks like Doodle might even be trying to take a third mid left.
It's not a bad choice. It's not a bad choice. Like, you need to continue growing yourself. And if you know that this position is very defendable,
yeah, this is the one advantage he has going for him. There's no way, even with Mr. Supply advantage, he could really push through this choke point. It's just, like you said, Dragoons are just too clunky. They get stuck on each other. You know, it would be a mess. So maybe if Doodle could just continue to string the game out, you know, there might be a world where he's able to get himself back into this one.
Another shuttle coming from his end, and Doodle doesn't actually see.
Oh, he doesn't see it.
Wait, is he gonna attack at the same time from the other side to just you know, get the attention from Doodle? That's a Reaper, and is it gonna? Oh, it's gonna. Oh. Okay.
It didn't kill anything. Oh man, okay, that's too bad.
That was pretty impressive that it worked, but the good thing about this. Oh no! Oh no! Oof.
Ooh, I thought he had that.
A very quick reaction from both players. Both saving the shuttles, both saving the Reapers. They are playing with fire, both of them. I mean, Doodle a little bit more because he really needs the Reapers to try to get back into the game. And we already see a Citadel from Miss, so he is starting to transition to Storm. Once you have Storm, the Reapers are not that scary anymore. And this is probably going to be the biggest problem for Doodle. He is moving out with everything, and that will give a good arc. However, bear in mind, there's
no Reavers here from Misters. Oh, there we go.
Not yet. They're coming. That's 4 Reavers. That's dangerous. That's dangerous to fight too. Like, you can see the army is actually looking pretty similar now.
Yeah, it is. I still think Misters might have a slight
advantage. He's still taking
here,
it because he has a shuttle and he can shoot at the Reaper, but this has been probably the best engagement that Doodle could hope for, considering how big the army was, and he was looking into the choke.
Very true there.
20 supply advantage, considering that before we had like 40. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but this is. Oh, he's gonna just scout the third with this. Can you do any damage into the probe line with this? Probably you can. Yeah, you're gonna
get a few probes, but either way. Yeah, they still are likely to get caught. No third base on the way for Doodle.
Yeah.
He's falling further and further behind here.
He did have like the idea of taking it, but he never actually got to start it. And
yeah.
To be fair though, he doesn't have that many. He doesn't have that many probes. So if he was trying to take like a third, he would have to also slow down his army production. And I think he wanted to win a fight and then eventually try to do something else, because he would be a little bit too far behind from just going economy. Like, that's a lot of Dragoons, but the Zealots have speed. And oh, is he gonna catch the shuttle? Probably not. And smartly backing away, so Doodle playing this correctly. But the Zealots
he's playing this very well. There's just so much diversity in the composition here for Misters. He's got Zealots, he's got Storm, Reavers. Yeah, there's that Templar you've been talking about. So I think he's got to realize this is time. He can start taking it, forcing the pressure here. Big Storm. That was so much damage.
The arc is still so much better for Doodle that he might even defend this, but yeah, 2 Reavers and a little High Templar coming in.
Another Storm. Yeah, he's probably gonna Storm, make a Archon here.
Yes, so far kind of Doodle survives. Oh, he's gonna get the shuttle. Unlucky there for Doodle, but even then, like, this supply is gonna start getting farther and farther away due to that third base. That third base is coming down from Doodle. It's going to be scouted right away with the Reavers. And
yeah, this is not even mining yet. Won't even be able to mine here. Mister's still continuing to rally a few units across the map. I mean, his third has been up and mining for a while now. No gas at it quite yet, but still. I mean, just look at the amount of speed zealots moving across the map here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Dragoons and Reavers. Oh, wow, that makes us almost dead. Oh, is he gonna? Yeah, Mist, of course, is gonna try to get another few probes now, and he's gonna kill a little bit, but so far not that great. Oh, but there's a full army coming in. This is probably a pincer move at this point because now you have to defend your army against Reavers on your base. This is gonna do some damage, but yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty nice actually. Very well done there.
So Doodle did some damage back, but it wasn't enough. It was just not enough considering how much of a good start Mist had in this game. And unfortunately, not good enough for Doodle. He's gonna try his luck in the loser portion of the bracket. So
yeah, his day's not over yet.
But well done,
very well done by MiStrZZZ, you know, and showed two complete different styles, right? How he opened game 1 versus the 2-gate opener there in game 2 ended up being the right situation, the right call. And yeah, he's, you know, looking like a strong competitor here in this Group F and is the first to advance to winners finals. So he'll be facing off against the winner of our next match here, which is going to be Jimin, a North American Zerg, facing off against big bad OyA, man. OyA, the Swedish Protoss, just a phenom. For anyone that watches BSL, you know who that is. So it's going to be a pretty interesting one here. Catspaw, how do you think, or what do you expect to see out of this next match?
I mean, I don't know Jimin that well. It's very difficult for me to tell how would his chances would look against OyA. I know OyA has been always very well known in the community in BSL. He's a very strong contender. He's almost every single time gotten pretty deep into the tournament itself. So initially I would say I would go with OyA, but when you don't know the other player, it's hard to say.
Yeah, Jimin is you know, a Korean Zerg residing in the US. He's actually been doing a little bit of streaming recently. I want to say the last few months, and starting to make a name for himself. But I believe he's been around for a while. I think he took a lot of his learning from the pro player Beast, which is a very aggressive Zerg. And when I think Jimin, and when you watch Jimin, he's got a insanely strong 973 timing. Like it is just he's just has the build down perfect.
Yeah, I see.
So if if you're not ready for the very quick, very early timings, he can be a big problem. But that being said, OyA is such a strong player. I would put OyA up there with Bonneth, with DeWalt, in Protosses in the foreign scene, and I don't say that lightly. He's just such a good player that I would say Jimin is gonna have his work cut out for him in this match for sure.
We'll definitely see depending on the map. I know there are maps that were better for the 973 than others, depending on how easy it is to put your cannons, depending on how easy it is to set up your not just the wall, but also how your units are going to funnel into it if you're trying to defend it, like the probes, the zealots. So that probably will also be something to take into consideration if he wants to go with that aggressive opening. And
very true. Yeah,
we'll see what we have.
The first map will be Dark Origin, so 2-player map. You know, they have that high ground 4th base. I would say, a map you can absolutely go for a 973 style opener on. I've seen Zergs proxy their 3rd base to the high ground base, outside the middle of the map, like closest to the opponent's natural, and do 973 pressures from there. So might be something, for Jimin to consider here. I'm sure he has something planned for this match.
I would definitely think he would, especially if he knew that he was going to be playing against 3 Protosses. Very easy to just plan around that and just practice with this.
True.
So, yeah.
Yeah, very true.
And also with the 2-player map, another interesting thing that's going to be, remember there's a backdoor with minerals. You can try to use that. So a 973 can follow up attacking onto the back of your base. And in this map in particular, it does take a little bit because you do need to sacrifice some time to get those minerals, but there is a possibility to put pressure on more than one entrance into your bases.
Yeah, I haven't seen that with a 973, but I've definitely seen that with like speedling timings, where you hide a hatchery behind, you know, the opponent's natural or whatever, mine the mineral out. It's crazy.
It's very, it's another thing that you need to think about as a Protoss. That's the biggest problem initially, right? You need to scout for just one additional thing, let's call it, which, you know, you can forget it and it can bite you, but it might not happen. So you're just spending time and effort into something that isn't there.
Yeah.
Important for me though is this is a map that is not that difficult for a Protoss to split the map. Which,
if it goes to late game, yes.
If it goes to late game, this is a map that you can split relatively well as a Protoss, which generally doesn't work well for us. So that is something to take into consideration a little bit. But at the same time, if Jimin is very aggressive, we might not even see that. Game might end a lot sooner, because if his attack works, great. If it doesn't, then we just go to the next game. Very difficult to say right away. And also because if the game does go into anything past the 3 bases, then you have to care about the bridges, the back drops. They can still work on this this map, but it's not very common. It's much more packed together, so drops are more difficult to pull off for a Zerg.
Yeah, very true. It is a much more difficult map for drops to get pulled off because of that. Usually once Protoss secures the 4th and it has a Robo, you know, Reaver up at the 4th base, then I feel like Protoss is very easily able to kind of secure a 5th from there on this map. So yeah, that's definitely something I personally struggle with in this matchup on this map, is once it gets past that, right? If I'm not able to contain, if Zerg isn't able to contain Protoss to the nice easy 3 bases, it can start spiraling out of control.
Also, very interesting in this map is that not island maps exactly, but the the 2 bases that are in the corners, they land themselves pretty nicely for lurkers, and just holding that area with that, just because the ramp is right next to the expansion, so you can defend it pretty okay if you are able to take it over.
Very true. Well, with that, folks, it looks like both of our players are ready to go. So let's jump into game number 1, Jimin versus OyA on Neo Dark Origin.
Let's go.
And spawning top left as the red Zerg, it is Jimin.
And at the bottom right, we have the blue Protoss, OyA, who is channeling his inner Dark Templar, from what I see.
Yeah, he's definitely a Dark Templar. I think he has Cloak in his DNA. I can't even see him. I barely see him.
There is a light, but you can't see him exactly.
He's actually invisible, man. He's ascended.
Alright, so let's see. So pylon at the front, so it's going to be an opening for an expansion. Let's see if it's going to be gate first or forge. 2-player map, you can do both. Gateway, only risky if there's like those hilariously aggressive, but most of the times it works perfectly fine. So we see there, yep, just a gateway. On 9, so this is a pretty quick gate.
Yeah, this is a overpool as well, with a very fast gas out of Jimin.
Yes.
I'm telling you, he is known for his aggression. The builds are gonna get weird in this series, but he really spends a lot of time kind of perfecting these odd timings, and if OyA isn't prepared for it, it can be scary here. So
the thing is that OyA is gonna see the timing, but it's just right, like 1 minute and 45-47, the gas. You know what the hell is going on? No expansion and already a gas.
Yeah, you gotta drop that forage. You gotta drop that forage,
yes.
And you get. But here's the thing, I think Jimin will just go layer too. Like, he's definitely there. Okay, it is speed. He has gone one hatch layer style stuff too. So he really gets like bizarre. I'm telling you. It's
Okay,
great.
I'll tell you one thing though. He's leaving one drone on gas, and that's okay. So you could actually play this like in the old times when people like Mondragon used to go speed lanes and just deny scout and then go double expansion, because then the Protoss doesn't know if he has to be defending or not. But nowadays people just shove the zealots into you to scout. So
Yeah, very true. Very true.
it's okay. Interesting that OyA doesn't feel really that threatened by this, because he is still expanding right away without the forage. You
Yeah, I'm
probably
kind of
are
surprised.
Okay, there's the point. So now the only thing is, how soon is OyA going to be looking at his back mineral line? It is going to be mining out. I don't think that he needs to worry about it right away, because usually you first want to check them at the front with the links to see if you can do anything. And the probe, okay, I was gonna say the probe has been alive a bit, considering that a lot of links were already running, trying to catch it. A lot of links coming in, and
Yeah,
now
this is
important,
it.
is this gonna be broken or not? Still more links, so
Yeah, he's just gonna go for it. This is definitely Jimin style. Cannon is on the way. Likely, OyA might even need a second cannon here and to pull some probes, but
so far he's fine, I think, just because the third zealot is gonna be out, and then you can
he's
defend
mining.
this.
He's mining out the back.
He's coming with Zerglings, but not mining it yet, right? I don't see the...
He's got two.
Oh, there it
drones.
is. There are the drones. Oh, okay. So this was not a 973 gas. This is just links and takes the back. All right. Let's see how he's gonna do it. Is he gonna just make an extractor and cycle through it? Like, how is he gonna?
I would assume that's what he's
time.
gonna do. Yeah, he's got to keep making extractors. Yep, there we go.
Okay, there we go.
Straight for it.
He's still showing the links at the front, so that OyA doesn't suspect too much to look at the back. Okay, and there's an overlord. Oh, another drone is coming in, so he wants to be really quick about it.
I don't know if he needs that third drone, because it's
I think...
just 32 minerals. That'd be 2 more cycles of these 2 drones, but oh well.
I mean...
Yeah, I guess it
can
works.
work, but you still need a lot of more links to break this. And we still are on 2 hatcheries, so...
This looks...
This
is he gonna win?
I think so. I think he has this.
Man.
I think he has this because if there are more... How many zealots do we have? Like, this is the key. If you have a lot of zealots, you can still somewhat survive with this, but if we have very few zealots, because you are already putting the economy into the tech, then, yeah, you might not be able to stop this. And that's a lot of links.
Yeah, it's way too many links. There's no way OyA holds this. Here we go. Come on, you gotta go for it. He's even getting a cannon in the natural mineral line. I mean, if he holds, he might win.
You go to the main, right? You don't. There's no reason to go to the natural with those things. And now, when you fight this, GG.
Wow.
Yeah, and I see Jimin very happy with this, and
you can tell he was real pleased with himself. Yeah, no, I mean,
that was clean.
It was clean. It was clean. It was a strategy. We said he was going to show up prepared. He absolutely was, man. That was, wow. Did the extractor trick, cleared out that back mineral, and I mean, there was nothing to greet those Zerglings in the main. So, very well done. Jimin gonna take a quick lead here. I'll be the first to say I'm a little shocked. That expect Jimin to be very good, but taking a quick lead in the BSL against OyA is no easy feat, man. So very well done there.
Yeah, especially because now OyA, like, even if he thinks I'm probably going to be the better player, now there's like back in your mind that thing of saying, well, I need to be extra careful now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's one more game that he has has to win, right? Jimin only needs one more win.
Right.
OyA still needs the 2. So if you want to, Jimin can still pull anything like this. And if it doesn't work, okay, nice game.
Yep, yeah, the pressure's off on Jimin now. He can afford to take the risks, whereas OyA needs to play clean from here on out. No mistakes, So
yeah, my choice is OyA though. So OyA chooses the map now. That is important because you could potentially eliminate things that you don't want to deal with.
Well, if you're thinking, OyA, you're thinking I want to play a safe game, what would be a good map pick here? Do you pick something big, Citadel,
I
or
think
retro?
I think big is probably the better option because for anything that is very, very, very aggressive, the larger the map, the more you kind of want to play the more macro-oriented style Jose, because it lends more better to it. But at the same time, it's hard to say that these are not the times of fighting spirit, right? Where everything was figured out. These maps keep rotating. We get new maps. For players who are very, very, very active on the ladder all the time, probably not a big problem. But Brothers might be a bit trickier to. As you can see, this problem would have been probably solved if OyA just had a probe there, right? And he saw that many links being produced, so one probe just staying there is pretty much free. But it's things you forget, right? If you aren't playing these games, if you aren't having these problems, these are things that you just forget over time. So hard to say, honestly.
Yeah, one pylon there, even just seeing the initial drones, mining that mineral out, and the game would have been completely different. OyA, could have, should have afforded, much more to be able to defend that. And fortunately, it's just how the game goes sometimes.
I mean, easy for us to say, right?
Right. Yeah. In hindsight's
Of course.
2020. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No way. You'd never see me, taking games off OyA in the BSL for sure.
Yeah, no. That hasn't happened to me yet. I wonder why.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, I'm very interested on what map OyA will be, because that is going to tell us quite a bit about, like, what is his thought process about, okay, how am I going to deal with this now? Because this is something that caught me off guard, and I'm pretty sure he says, yeah, that was a mistake, I can fix that. So, how are you going to fix this? That's what I want to see. And Jimin, I mean, he's feeling good. Paid off what he wanted to do. So, let's see how
he's got to be happy with it, for sure. But at the same time, no other map is going to play like this. So, I almost feel like if you're OyA, you kind of give a wink and a nod. You say, all right, you got me on that one, but that's never happening again. So we'll see. Looks like our map going to be Vermeer, so it's exactly what you were saying, Cat's Pods. If you're OyA, just get into a standard game, get on a big map where you don't have to worry about some 4-pool or speedling, silly run-by stuff. Let's make a wall, let's defense it, and let's, play a serious game here.
I would say that on this map, I wouldn't be even that shocked if OyA decided to go Forge first, because Forge first allows you to play your build pretty much the way you want it. You don't have to worry that much about early Zerglings. But because the map is very big, also, like, sending those first zealots out, yeah, they can get things done if the opponent is very greedy, but if a map is that large, we'll see.
I see. All right, folks, sounds like both our competitors are ready to go, so without further ado, let's jump into it. It's going to be game number 2, OyA versus Jimin on Vermeer.
Let's go.
And spawning top left, it's the Swedish Protoss. Spawning in red, it's OyA.
And at the bottom right, the blue Zerg, one game up, needs one more, is Jimin.
I still can't see OyA.
Yep.
The camera. Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, very dark.
It's a stylistic choice. I kind of like it.
I like it. He's lurking, man. He's lurking in the shadows. You can't detect him.
Alright, so pylon at the front, yeah, that makes nothing surprising yet. And it seems like, I think that's gonna be an Overlord from Jimin.
Okay, so
I think if I said correctly. So, yeah,
we'll see if this is maybe a early pool again, or it could be a hatch first. Either way, it is cross map, so likely the game's gonna go a little longer this time. And is it gateway?
It looks like it's from the positioning, yes.
Another overpool from Jimin here. No gas this time.
At this distance, from what I understand at this distance, you will almost never send the Zealot to actually attack. You will just scout and see the pull timing and pull the Zealot as soon as you see the eggs turning into Zerglings. So
Yeah, that's definitely true. Unless, I mean, Zerg's being ridiculously greedy or something. But
yeah,
that's
you see it from the I think
here.
you see it from the larva how many eggs at the same time turn. If it's all of them, then it's lings. If it's, I think, first one, then two, then probably one drone for Zergling, something like this.
Yep, I think you're right. Either way, it looks like, unfortunately, OyA gonna get wrong scout.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It's if it goes now across, it's I think still it's a drone scout. That's actually kind of interesting because in a bigger map, if you want to be active and aggressive as Zerg, this is a very big tell because you usually want to not just know where the enemy is, but you want to be able to guess whether your aggression has any way to pay off.
Ooh, almost gets the drone there. Very well done from OyA.
Good block. And the lings are already out. So far only 2. And 2 more eggs now. But this is problematic because we don't get to scout this as a product. So yeah, Zealot coming back. It's a little bit too risky to send the Zealot. But Probe can still go in there.
He was trying to kill that
trying
drone.
to get the cute, but unlikely to work. Because of the regeneration and the links can just intercept you.
It's still good pressure though, because that drone could have turned to try to take a third base, which is very common.
I see. Yeah.
So it looks like actually Jimin doing a good job with this ling pressure. Not really able to get anything done because of that wall from OyA, but still threatening, which is not easy to deal with for Protoss. 2 on gas. I don't know what Jimin's doing here. This might be 2-hatch Muta?
The scouting probe did die, which already tells you that Jimin can drop his whatever tech he wants to. One Zealot is coming from the bottom, though. It was not scouted, I believe. And because of the Zerglings are actually trying to be active, there is a good chance that this Zealot will get into the main and will get to scout. Oh my god, it never even showed to the links. What the... That's a dark Zealot. That's all I'm gonna say. It was right next to the links and it never showed. This, however, is risky. Is OyA able to actually pull?
I don't know, man. He's trapped. There's no probes here to deal any additional damage. Zealots are caught. Oh my gosh.
Probably that might be game.
This really
because
might be game.
Now you can just run in with the Zerglings, right? Or you can just kill the. Oh, maybe not. Oh, but the Zealot in the main could actually do some damage. You need to. I think you need to kill your own gateway and then replace it right away, because otherwise he's gonna run in.
Oh, he doesn't have the money. He didn't quite have the money. More probes being pulled here. They are getting some good damage on these Zerglings. Zealot did fall inside.
Zealot was actually disrupting, and because of that, the links just went on autopilot. So OyA lives, and actually lives in a really good position because yes, you lost the Zealot, yes, you lost the gateway, but you killed all the Zerglings, you put pressure, you scouted. That's not bad.
Spire down. Yeah, there's drones moving across the map. This is an odd one. Looks like OyA even getting a cannon inside his natural mineral.
Yes, not surprising. Like at this point, you kind of know that the only thing that they can be going for is mutas because there was no Hydrogen. If there was a Hydrogen being built, then you know it's lurkers. Then this has to be mutas. So just defend your economy line and build from there.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the speedlings as well. Could also be an issue here.
Yeah, with one
such
cannon,
a late core.
Oh yes, that's true. But you need the cannons, right? You need the cannons. We have 2 cannons, but one is not the best place to defend this. But this should still be perfectly fine to survive any kind of possible attack. And yeah, mutas are going to be coming soon. So again, I would expect OyA to know this because he did scout that there was, well, literally no economy and a lair and nothing else. So you would expect mutas, but so far I didn't see cannons in the main. Oh, there we go.
Just very well timed. And core is finally done. We can start our Stargate here.
on the Zealots, I believe. It's gonna be +1 attack. And there's the Stargate. Okay, Jimin is in a difficult position. You might kill a few probes, but I don't think that's gonna be enough to equalize the game. We will have to see, because I see a lot of cannons. Yeah. So OyA understands that the only thing that he has to really do is defend his economy, and he should have the game.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with these 2-hatch openers. It's really why, you know, you don't see a lot of the top Zergs open this consistently. There's just no transition, unless you're getting damage that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, another problem you'd have is that you want to be doing damage, but if you're doing damage with so few mutas, it's very easy to start losing some of them, and you really need the clump at some point to be even able to defend yourself. So it's a bit of a catch-22 where you no.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah, he's trying to probably put pressure into this to kill with the lanes, the gates. But the problem with this is that the cannons at the bottom will still defend the actual economy. And there is another gate in the main.
Yeah, there's even another gate in the main. Yep,
so
you're right.
So the gate is fine. We don't care about the gate. We only care about the forge, realistically.
The other cannons are close enough to that forge that shouldn't be an issue.
And another one that should be finishing relatively soon. So.
Well, that is a nice pickup though for Jimin.
It is.
One
it is
gateway
something,
down.
Yes. However, I think he lost 1 or 2 mutas for this forge. So it's Wow, how many Stargates?
Was that 3 Stargates?
Wait, what?
I think
Yes.
That's a mistake.
Oh my
He's
god!
also
Oh my
got 2 on gas in the main, I believe. As well.
If he might go scouts. Because
that would be bizarre.
I don't understand the 3 Stargates though myself. Like I think 2 is probably enough, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a misclick. Because he's also going Templar. Like, there's no way you have gas to
yeah, then there probably is then.
Well, good trade so far. 1 muta going down. Oh, another Corsair rallies in here. OyA with just clean Corsair control. Ends up saving the low health Corsairs. Wow.
You could actually
well
put a shield battery at this point, and it would probably be worth more than like two Corsairs. Oh no.
Oh, he's diving in on the cannons. There's 3 cannons though.
That's shame. I think he knows he can't continue the game, so he was just trying to. Yeah, he knew he wouldn't be able to continue the game. That's what he was going for. But yeah.
Yeah,
well,
very well done though.
Another crazy build. This time it doesn't work. So,
yeah, this time it didn't work. It was very close though. I mean, it was.
It
right
could
on
have
the
worked.
line there.
It could have worked. I think when the Zerglings, when there was 1 Zealot left, and the cannon was still building, there was a possibility to just kill the gate and pass. But I don't know. I don't remember the health of the gate if that was close enough. But
yeah,
OyA defended well.
He did defend very well. It is so hard to use probes like that. Like the probe control to get the surround on those Zerglings while the cannon was building was just perfect. Like
that was the Zealot in the main. That was the Zealot in the main from the Zerg. He had to defend against it, so he lost control at the same time from the Zerglings that were trying to attack probes. Because usually he would just run back and then try to fight them again, but he was trying to not lose drones, so that's why the probes got such a good fight. So really, like, good clutch decision from OyA to do that to defend.
Yeah, it definitely was. So, well done there. And with that, it should be Jimin's map pick now. And like we saw the first game, he has a plan, man. So it's always scary knowing that Jimin gets to pick another map, and especially given what we've seen out of Game 1 and Game 2 here. I mean, it could be anything. 2-hatch muta, quick speed league, pool. As I mentioned, his 973 is very strong. It's very strong. So you always need to worry about that as well from Jimin. So
I think this is a good moment to actually try that, because he tried 2 different completely weird builds. One of them worked, the other one didn't. So yeah, it would make sense now to try something a lot like still very aggressive, but that's something that is like difficult for us in general to defend, right? Not that something that you just scout and you are okay. I know what I can do and just outlive.
Right, yeah.
973 is not that.
973 looks standard. There's 3 bases, there's 3 hatcheries, you know? Especially with how consistent Jimin has been about killing the scouting probe, it's very difficult to discern whether it's, you know, a Hydra pressure or a quick layer with a Spire, you know? So yeah, I agree with you. I want to see Jimin maybe get that 3rd hatchery, maybe lull OyA into thinking he's going to be playing safe and standard and do a Hydra timing. You know, it could be one way he could end up pulling this series out against such a strong Protoss in OyA.
Yeah, I mean, even if he wins against OyA, he would later has to play against Mist, which that means, again, a Protoss. So maybe he doesn't want to show every single thing that he wants to play, because he might want to keep something for later, just because it's most of the process. But it's going to be Apocalypse, and, well, not sure. Not sure if that's going to work.
I think Apocalypse is honestly a great map for ZVP, so
Okay.
not a bad pick here, in my opinion, from Jimin. But yeah, with this, folks, both our players are ready to go. So let's jump into the final game of the series. It's Jimin versus OyA on Apocalypse.
Let's go.
And spawning bottom left as the blue Protoss, it is OyA.
And at the bottom right, it is going to be the red Zerg, Jimin.
Yeah, the Apocalypse, great map for Zerg in my opinion. You know, like we were talking about 973. It is a strong map for 973 if you're able to control that high ground outside your opponent's natural third area. You know, it can make Hydra pressure very devastating. Also, drop play for Zerg is very strong in this map, in this matchup.
Yeah,
You know,
true,
going
definitely.
like a mid game like Lurker Hydra drop. Yeah, so there are options here for Jimin.
The thing that I'm mostly interested about is that the previous game, I think, basically not all of it, but a very large point to winning that was that one zealot that sneaked through, because it allowed that's not only the scout, but also it created a lot of chaos at the right time for OyA. Without that, I would have seen Jimin actually win the previous game. So this is going to be interesting. Is OyA going to like be that capable of not just multitasking, but predicting when I need to do this kind of disruption? We see Jimin already taking an expansion, but it's not going to be at his natural. It's going to be at the 3rd base. And I mean, OyA is going to be able to scout this, I believe. I don't think he's going to leave before confirming the 3rd, because it's so close that you might as well do it. Gas is getting mined, so at this point, yeah, very important. I would stay with the probe just to confirm the eggs and what's coming out of them, but yeah, Zealot is coming in, and Overlord already sees it, so I expect those to be Zerglings.
Yep. Like you said, does confirm the Zerglings being produced. There are 4 on the field already. Likely knows that 3rd base is being, or that hatchery is being produced at the close 3rd base position. Probe running around, getting a little additional scouting. Ooh, he's got to watch out there. Don't want to lose this probe that early, especially against Jimin.
I think you want to confirm speed on links if possible, because the gas was very early, so it would be really nice to confirm that the gas went there, not somewhere else. You don't even need to like go too deep with the probe, just let that one link that is following you tell you that information, and just maybe scout a little bit closer. More links. Okay.
It is speed, by the way, too. So
Yep.
yeah, this is going to be more speedling pressure out of Jimin.
Okay, we're coming back to the first game, but there is no backdoor here to mine, so...
And Zealots are maybe a little too far from the wall. Wow, suddenly OyA understands and does back up.
He saw with the probe that more links were coming out, and there is a what?
Why is there a creep colony in the main?
What is this? This is very all-in, I think, because you wouldn't put a sunken in your main otherwise, right?
It was just the Zealot from last game must have had him tilted. Oh man, everything else looked perfect until that creep colony.
The
was there.
only thing that I thought that it could be is that he wanted to make another Zergling pair and then cancel it because he didn't have the supply. That's the only thing I can think of right now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if maybe it was just the threat of a Zealot run by, but man, either way.
Yeah, could be as well. Could be as well, definitely. He may be, because he's sending everything right out, he might not want to deal with anything in his base. OyA is going to be able to defend this, but the links are going to get through.
Made another forge. Wow.
Nice. That's actually pretty clutch, because this is probably going to defend the cannon. Is it gonna survive?
It's gonna survive, I think. Yep.
Whoa!
Wow.
That link stopped attacking because the probe was drilling on it. That link for half a second stopped attacking.
Insane. This is so well done here. A second cannon even going down. Probes still just they know what's going on here.
The probe sees everything. Like okay, at this point you basically I think you should just basically wall with everything you can because
you just need to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hydrogen
on 2 hatches is kind of bonkers, but hey, you have to do something crazy at this point, right? You can't play the game normally, and well, it could work based on how the Zerg has played before. It could actually work. So there's gonna be 2 hatcheries with Hydras with speedlings. So you need to kill the front and then hope that the Protoss will think that you're not committing to this, right? I would say.
That's the assumption. At least he knows there's not going to be any scouting due to having, speedlings out on the map. There's no way a probe is going to slip out here and kind of catch this. Yeah, I mean, still though, OyA's doing all the right things. We're seeing a 3rd cannon even being made at the natural here. He continues to wall with zealots and probes. I mean, his eco is just starting to really take off as well. Just constant probe production. Somehow, though, he has to try to see this coming.
And the truth is that apart from killing maybe, I don't know, the pylon, but no, too much HP, like you're not killing that quick enough. Yeah, it's gonna be really tricky. Like, also, I would... Oh, another cannon in the natural. Okay, perfect. So this is basically what I'm saying. I don't know exactly what you're doing. I know that I'm very far ahead because of the attack that you did. I am a little bit surprised that he's not adding another cannon at the natural, because, quite honestly, he should know, again, how far ahead he is. Like, the previous game he knew. He made 3 Stargates. So, and we'll see. We'll see him because he might have still, like, the production from 2 hatchers with this amount of drones, I don't think is enough to be problematic, but...
Yeah, no, I think OyA could even lose the natural.
Still, probably.
Still win. I mean, I don't know, actually.
He does need gates.
Yeah, he does need gateways. That is 8 Hydra, and remember, that 1 cannon is very weak. I'm starting to feel like this could be kind of scary for OyA.
It's still possible, especially if the... So this is, I think, if the links are tanking all of the damage from the cannons, and at the same time, like, the Zealots are trying to fight them instead of the Hydras, I can see a world where this works. Especially because you can see that this is, like... Oh, okay, Jimin is still not showing... There we go.
He sees the Hydra. You gotta react. Oh, no, OyA.
I mean, even if you lose that, that's not that important right now, but yeah. Okay, is there another pilot, though? No, so just cannons for now, okay? I think... Yeah, it looks fine for OyA for now. Oh, and already taking damage from those Hydras. Yeah, that's really, really bad right now.
Yeah, I think Jimin needed to commit there. Is he just going to try to kill the wall and back? I mean, there's no way he macros out of this.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, he's got to go. Here we go.
And that's not... I can't see.
Yeah. Zealot's doing so much damage.
Yeah, Zealot's alone are defensive this.
He's buying so much time for these cannons to get up as well, putting down additional pylons to soak up Hydra damage. The Forge is isolated. I could see him losing, maybe +1 here on that Forge, but
true,
that's about it.
But even if you lose that, like in a normal game, that would be probably very important. In this particular game, not that big of a
Yeah,
deal.
it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's trying to move forward, pick off some additional zealots. This is really where he's chosen to
He
commit.
just gave 10 for the zealots. If I saw correctly, the zealot was moving faster. Yeah. So now you can't even like juggle against the zealots. If you're going to commit, you're going to commit, and you're going to take damage.
Well,
actually,
Jimin
OyA,
did kill +1.
OyA was fine with just using the zealot because he wanted to trade the cannons against the Hydra so then he could move out with the zealots and kill it. But yeah.
Very well done there.
Another game that Jimin tried something a little bit crazy. Unfortunately, this wasn't exactly like. It was something too similar, right, to what he already did, and I think OyA responded properly this time.
Yeah, there was much less of a concern, it felt like, that game than the previous games. OyA knew he had the cannons, knew he had the, a full wall off with probes. I mean, that one cannon did get down pretty low, to be fair.
Yeah.
But, still another great hold from OyA to take a very strong series there. And it looks like with that, OyA going to be moving on to the winners finals for the group.
Against MiStrZZZ.
So, yeah, it's going to face off against MiStrZZZ. So I know OyA has very strong PvP as well.
Yes.
And we've obviously already seen MiStrZZZ strong PvP showcase today too. So this is promising to be a pretty strong match here.
I think it's going to be a real test for MiStrZZZ because his previous opponent was not playing poorly. But OyA is, as you said, probably one of the top 3, maybe 5 processes of foreign scenes.
I would say so.
It's like you're playing really with the big boys now, and they're not going to be nice. So
yeah,
you
they're not
need
going
to
take
be
it easy.
really on point right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm really interested to see this because again, it's a real test for MiStrZZZ on how much he's improved and how well he's practiced this matchup.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And Apocalypse is the first map, so it's a map where you can abuse a little bit some of the high maps sometimes. So also very, very small choke to enter a natural of your opponent. And I think it's a flat map, right, between the natural and the main.
The main, right, no ramp leading into the main.
That's key, because that doesn't give anyone an advantage in that position. So you can go 2 gate and 3 into basically Dragoons and try to be very aggressive. There are a lot of options with just flat ramps.
I feel like I see that a lot on Apocalypse. The 2 gate into 3 gate obs, like you said, and you kind of, even if you can't pressure, you spread out and defend versus drops on the map and use your obs to, get a good idea of where you're at. So yeah, could be a good option here for both MiStrZZZ and OyA. Yeah.
Also, for me, very interesting to see another thing, because this is the first map, but what's going to be the second map of choice for whoever loses is going to maybe tell us a little bit like what these players prefer to play in PvP, because a 2-player map plays quite a bit differently than something like a big open player map, even though the strategies are the same. But in a smaller map in PvP, you are less likely to get around the army of your opponent and like sneak something like a shuttle. It's much easier to get intercepted if the army is moving around. In a big map, it's easy for everything to happen. You can like get flanked. You might get a shuttle from nowhere. It's a lot more question marks to have. Now we see MiStrZZZ in the previous set have very good area control around his bases and around different paths of attack. Now that's a good sign of understanding what position you are in PvP, because you know, okay, now is the time for drops, and I want either a pylon somewhere or a probe somewhere to see if something is going to fly to me. So that tells me he knows pretty well what he wants to do. So that's why I'm saying that I'm so interested in this match in particular, because of OyA being such a strong caliber player.
Yeah, absolutely. It's truly going to be a test here for OyA, but still. OyA no slouch. I would say PvP is one of OyA's better matchups as well. So definitely, probably feels like he's got some strength and got an advantage going into this one with MiStrZZZ. We didn't really get to see Mister's choose a map last series because he ended up winning both games.
True.
But in the map 1 Dark Origin, he did play very confident in middle of the road 2-gate Robo Obs into Reaver. So I wonder if he would feel like he could play middle of the road versus a player the caliber of OyA.
When I see OyA's statistics, it seems like he's around same in each matchup, but when I think of OyA, the first thing that jumps at me is his PVZ, and I think he didn't pioneer it, but he started using it as the first foreigner, the 5-gate Dragoon push against Zergs. And I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, this is actually something you can do. And in his other matchups, like PvP, yeah, solid, straightforward, nothing. I don't remember him doing anything completely crazy. So much harder for me to recall any specific thing in PvP that for OyA was something impressive. Not to say that he's weak, it's just that it's more the standard style. And
yeah,
we'll see, because Beast we've seen again, he plays what he feels confident with, and so far it's been working for him.
Yeah, I guess just to piggyback off what you're saying about OyA, you're right. I don't think he's really and I think it speaks to the caliber of player he is, that he doesn't have tendencies PvP. I think a lot of players can be read at this level of PvP, but when you evenly distribute your build choices between, 3-gate Robo, 1-gate Robo, 2-gate pressure, it makes you that much scarier because you can't really be anticipated. So yeah, OyA definitely just and also, the shining claim for him is he takes games off Boneth and DeWalt. How many of us can say that, right? Nobody.
No,
so
definitely, again, as we said, probably top 3, maybe top 5, depending on who you look for. Sometimes maybe you can have an argument for somebody else, so I'm not going to say definitely top 3. But I would put myself, yeah, he's probably top 3 with DeWalt. And so,
absolutely.
Again, really difficult test for Meist, but let's see. I mean, he's won the previous one. He probably feels pretty good about his chances. So,
yeah, I mean, he's been playing very well today so far, winning a PvP series, before facing off against OyA. It's got to give you some confidence moving into it. So yeah, could be his day.
And so because it's going to be on Apocalypse, we'll see also again how these players want to play this. Again, flat entrance into the natural and into the main can play a role, especially in this matchup where one volley for something else changes can be enough to win the fight right away. Bonnet, I believe, said it a few times.
Is 2-gate opener popular on this map because of not having a ramp leading to the main?
The thing is that I wouldn't say that popularity in PvP, everything kind of can work. It's a little bit similar to VCVC, so I wouldn't say that it's more popular.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, we just got confirmation. Both our players are ready to go here, folks. So let's jump into game number 1 of our winners finals here. It's going to be MiStrZZZ versus OyA on Apocalypse. And spawning bottom left as the red Protoss from Poland, it is MiStrZZZ.
And we have at the bottom right as the blue Protoss coming from the last game win, it is OyA.
I like the ID change from MiStrZZZ Radley as Protoss.
Miss is he likes to troll a lot. Some people sometimes don't like it, other people think it's funny, but he likes to take himself not that seriously. So as you can see, Radley as Protoss is probably his a little bit inside joke. And we see wait, are you trying to make gateways in the middle? Is this possible? Is this map allows?
I hope so, or this is going to be a very short game.
So here's the problem. In Remastered, it is a lot harder to tell by the titles on the map. In the original StarCraft, it's a lot easier to see where you can and where you can't build. In Remastered, it can be a little bit deceiving. So I hope I hope MiSTR actually practiced this.
I assume he has. Yep, and we are seeing a gateway go down.
It's fine,
here, so.
and it probably is gonna be 2-gate, especially because when you are putting gates like that far forward, if you put just one, and you just start losing the initial trade, you lose everything. You lose your units and your gateways, right? You need to have the ability to win the initial fight, whatever it's gonna look like. So, okay. So far, this is a good position for MiSTR because not only does he get the first scout, but OyA is not scouting, and he is going to be playing 1-gate gas. Now, usually you would make a first zealot in this matchup if you're not scouting. It's very rare to just go straight into core because you will literally just die to one zealot. So very unlikely. You see the pylon. This means there is a zealot coming because you need the pylon to continue probe production. And now the probe is going to be coming out for OyA. Is it going to check?
Oh, it doesn't look like it.
If it's going top, it doesn't see it, right? I think.
Oh,
no,
this is going to be close.
Is it going to see
it? Yeah, he does see it. Oh, I can't believe that.
Okay.
Wow.
So he confirms the 2 gates. Now, this is mostly going to be a micro play battle, but I like how OyA is responding to this. He's immediately dropping the 2nd gate. And that basically is the best way to stop this, because you don't counter this with your 2nd gate, you only have a better chance of stopping it. Oh, and a shield battery. Oh, I see. Because OyA understands that this is a committal of everything, and he wants to have a good position from the start. So he's even going with a lot of probes, trying to push this away, probably to kill the probe, so there is no shield battery for MiSTR.
Yeah, that was a really nice pickup, picking off that probe. So this pylon is now going to do nothing. This is a huge committal here from MiSTR's. He really needs to get some big damage here, killing probes, gateways, something. But OyA's 2nd gateway starting to kick in here. Does have a battery. Continues to pull these probes for now. Oh, MiSTR's. I thought he had that probe. Wow.
I mean, at this point, I'm not really sure you want to keep the probes around anymore, because you could just be
mining.
You could just be not only mining, but you could just trade a little bit of shields and then go back and recharge the shields, because you do have a shield battery. And losing the probes is not good. I mean, if you still win the trade with the zealots and you still kill everything that MiSTR has put in here, like the island, you probably still win this. But that's a lot of probes. That's a lot of probes lost.
Yeah, that was a huge amount of probes lost. I don't know, man. He's also not been mining gas. There's no tech advantage here at all for OyA. Is doing a good job utilizing these shield batteries, though. But finally, even MiSTR has his own shield battery up, and this really feels like
the trades are not really that good for OyA, I think. Yeah. Because the only good thing is that the shield battery should be empty for MiSTR, but another one is going to be coming right away. Can he recharge that one zealot? Yeah, he recharged the one zealot and he keeps fighting with the rest. So he's actually starting to win the entire war of the zealots. But there's a 2nd shield battery also for OyA. So this is shield battery wars, essentially.
Yeah, it looks like MiSTR's is coming out on top too.
Yeah, and because he killed so many of these probes initially, then there is no advantage for OyA for playing, more economically at the beginning. And this is looking really like a win for MiSTR this one. Like the amount of zealots. This should be a win.
Yep, probes being pulled off the line here. Almost no mining going down, and OyA forced to call GG. Wow, no way.
And MiSTR just basically saying, don't tell him. So I gotta say, when I saw the initial start and I saw how OyA was getting the 2nd gate and then dropping right away his shield battery, I thought, he's got it. There's no way you lose this. And then he picks the probe. So I think maybe what happened was that OyA thought, no, come on, like you're not gonna continue this. Like, I have a shield battery, you don't. You just lost your probe. Why would I commit? And when he saw just a few zealots, he went, okay, I'll send the probes. Started losing a little bit too much. And unfortunately, I think a little bit of lag could have been a problem there, because we did see a few depths there. But very well that this decided to go for something like this, because it's a cheeky way to win, but it's a win.
It is a cheeky way to win, but sometimes you gotta pick the cheeky ways to win against a player like OyA. So
yes, yeah,
you know.
I agree. I agree.
Man, it was still very close. Despite OyA's kind of choice for a build opening in the center, not being able to really utilize that gas he took early on, he still made it very close. If you're OyA, you got to be a little frustrated, man. Your first series versus Jimin, you're getting Speedling, two-hatch Muta all in, and now you're proxy gated game 1 versus MiStrZZZ,
Yes, I think OyA at this point is thinking, man, when am I gonna get to play a normal game?
Yeah, I think you're not wrong.
But that is also one of the things I think that is a little bit on OyA, because he did scout extremely late. He made, I think, Pylon, Gate, Gas, and he was still not scouting. Like, that's a bit late to scout. But even then, like, his defense, his timing would be fine. Like, I think that the progress that he lost early on, that he didn't really need to take into the fight, he could have just defended. I think probably that would have been fine, but well, easy to say. I would say that I definitely want to see how fast OyA is going to be scouting in the next game, because I would say that he's going to be focusing more on saying, okay, I get it, I know what you are trying to do, you're trying to catch me completely off guard.
I think he's going to pick a big map. I think that's the other thing you do here, right? It's harder to get away with something like a proxy gate. Yeah, I think it might have, or it might be a latency test. Yeah, it's just a little more tough if it's a 4-player map to make those calls to go something like a proxy gate timing if you're MiStrZZZ. So yeah, who knows? If I'm OyA here, I'm picking like Citadel or Polypoid or Retro or some big 4-player map, just to try to prevent any odd openers like game 1 here.
I mean, in a way, I would say that OyA, like, maybe in the previous match he was like, okay, this guy likes to do a lot of like these strange builds, but started to be thinking, oh, this is gonna be more straightforward. Maybe he was just a little bit too relaxed. But we will see, because his response was initially very good. So at least that is from what I've read from like how he started in defending with the 2 gates himself. So I think he does have that. It's gonna be Radio.
There we go, Radion, 4-player map, close naturals, so things like dive bombing with Reavers could be a strong way to play this one. But either way, I think a great choice here from OyA. With that, both our players are ready to go, so let's jump into game number 2, OyA versus MiStrZZZ on Radion.
Let's go.
Here we go. Spawning at the top left bottom left as the blue Protoss. Radley as Protoss, it is MiStrZZZ.
And at the top left as the red Protoss, it is going to be OyA.
What do you think these positions on Radion for PvP?
Honestly, because of the idea that both of them have their natural kind of not directly to the other player, like the possibility of drops or something like this, I don't think that benefits anybody. Because it's top to bottom, and there's no like diagonal possibilities of using that against another player, there is no range advantage for either player in any engagement. I would say this is probably as straightforward and as equal as you're gonna get in this matchup. The only thing that is, I think, I would have to check exactly, but the ramp also plays a little bit into it. Sometimes the ramp can be problematic. We have a backwards or aiming upwards ramp for OyA, and then a downwards aiming ramp for Radley. I believe that the upwards aiming one is more buggy, and it's easier to have problems there. So,
I see. So OyA kind of has a worse ramp as far as being able to defend with Reaver specifically?
I would say more about Dragoons. It's mostly about Dragoons and who is going to be on that ramp. I think the 2-gate I don't think has anything to do with that. I think it's a completely different idea. But essentially, the ramps for Dragoons can, as for anything, can be finicky, but when you're trying to back off or something like this, it's easy for the Dragoon to just take an additional 1 or 2 shots because it's not moving properly. And it doesn't usually end games, but in small skirmishes it might. But we do see that Mis is playing 1-gate now himself, whereas OyA is playing the 2-gate, and he's scouting very early. In this position, because of the way the ramps are designed for the defense for Radley, for Mis, it should be fine. But I like the idea of having the 1 Zealot on the ramp and waiting and not showing it, because you want to group the 3 Zealots before you actually show any of the units. Once you have 3, you want to go. This is mostly because you still want to fight with the 3. You don't want to like start trading damage with 1 Zealot anyway. So if you get to kill the probe, that's perfect. If you don't get to kill the probe, oh well. Now with that's enough information for Mis. He knows that this is a 2-gate himself. He's trying to delay the 2 Zealots, but he has to be careful because that probe probably is better going into the main of OyA and either scouting or even putting that miner pile in. I think gas is coming up for OyA, so this is going to be a continuation with Dragoons. Yeah, so far pretty well controlled by Mis to not actually lose it, but still delay everything. And we have a shield battery with the Dragoon coming out, already starting to put damage before the Zealots reach the ramp. But you do need to have the Dragoon and the Zealot to block this first one so it doesn't get in. Is he gonna block it? Okay, he blocks it just with probes.
It took a lot of damage, like you said.
Yes, because of the time that it takes to travel. But now these Zealots don't want to fight here. They want to go past.
Oh, the probe blocked the Dragoon on the ramp. I can't believe that. Insane.
That's very very good move. However, bear in mind that the key element here is essentially. Oh my God!
He's still blocking, man.
That probe. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, that was pretty. That was sick. That was sick because these probes that are dying right now, they are dying more because of that. But not only that, but also the delay in mining, and you get to scout the DTs. Like,
just a pure scout too. Still has a half HP Zealot, forcing probes to move in the main.
I didn't see however, I didn't see that many probes dying to this. Like some died, but not that many. So I wouldn't say this was worth it per se for OyA. Although I don't know.
I think scouting the Templar tech is huge.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key thing, right? Because that essentially allows you with the 2 gates to not only defend it, but probably just take your expansion right away.
He's got another tricky Zealot in position to run by into the main.
I thought he was gonna try to go around, but probably maybe it was just misrallied. Oh, there is another Zealot coming in.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, this is gonna be also annoying here for MiStrZZZ to handle. Still though, I'm not seeing any Dragoons for OyA at home. He's gonna have to defend this pressure coming in from MiStrZZZ. DT out, gets to his mineral line.
Yeah, but that's two, maybe 3.
I think he's gonna get a 3rd. No, nope.
Barely.
Yeah, very close.
And yeah, we have the defense. So this is now pretty much, maybe not game ending, but pretty much catastrophic economic damage with so many probes falling. If OyA has been producing his probes constantly and has not fallen behind on that, then he is, well, I mean, you can see on the supply he's very ahead, but obviously that's also because of the 2-gate against 1-gate DT opener. And, well, the DT might buy you a little bit of time to expand, but you do need cannons, because you're not going to survive once the Observer and the... It's not something that usually works. Like, that's something that you do in a desperate way, mostly.
Yeah, you're just kind of giving up map control at that point.
You can just your opponent can just expand 3 times basically, and you don't know it. Okay, so I like one thing about Mis, what he did. He just saw the situation. He realized that this is probably not going to go my way, and he's like, I'm not going to continue with this. I'm going to the next one. It's a pretty healthy attitude to have, to just focus on the next game and try to win the next one instead of constantly be upset about the one that's not working for you.
True. I mean, he took his risk. Unfortunately, it was just in a scenario where you're not going to catch up against a player the caliber of OyA like that. So
Yeah.
I also agree. I think let's just take the mental break, get out of that game, focus on your game plan for the next game, and, look to take the series from there. So yeah, not a bad call. Yeah, I think it was pretty clear OyA, had a much faster expansion, better tech, higher unit count, more eco. There's just no catching up there.
And especially the eco, especially the amount of probes. Early damage in PvP for probes is kind of, it's not exactly like ZVZ, because the ZVZ every drone is massive, but it is big. If you start losing a few, then everything is just uphill.
Yeah. Any mirror matchup really, it seems to feel more significant to lose, even just a few workers for sure. So. Yeah.
Well, maybe TBT a bit less because gas is usually the limiting factor, but it's. When exactly we're going to recover, but
we are back.
Hello. Yeah, we're back.
Hey everybody, we're popping back here. It's gonna just take us a second, but
yeah.
Yep. Currently tied up 1-1. Just waiting on both our players here to select the final map.
Oh, right. That's another thing. MiStrZZZ now gets to choose his map. So.
Yeah. Which, I don't know what you do, man. I don't know if you would go, the Apocalypse choice was a nice touch, but there's not really another map like that that I can think of in the map pool.
I mean, so
KJ
the problem
I
think
is
for me
Sub
is
for
that
17
the first
months.
game he won
Greetings,
was something that
smiley
caught
face.
OyA off guard, right? It was a bit difficult to control. Also, there's a little bit of lag there, so it was like, okay, it's good. It's a good situation for me. Second game, on the other hand, OyA does the opposite, so that he does the 2-gate, and now it's MiStrZZZ who basically can't handle that initial pressure. I am wondering if both of them are going to go double gates, because I wouldn't be surprised. Like if you're looking from this perspective of MiStrZZZ and you're going to try to go 1-gate, if it's 2-gate again, it's very difficult that you're going to be able to manage it. And he was doing fine at the beginning. He was putting pressure on the Zealots with the Dragoon early on. He blocks the ramp. So he did fine, and it still went poorly in the end. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But then again, depends on the map. The map is large enough for players. Maybe you're fine with it.
Yeah, it could be. If it's a 4-player map, maybe not. But like you said, even for OyA, the game that he pressured, he is at least getting that scouting information. Something like a proxy gate wouldn't really be a big fear for him if he did open something like a 2-gate, obviously. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that as well.
I mean, another thing that's important, if there are any latency issues, then 2-gate 10 technically is safer, because controlling your Dragoon is much more important than the Zealots, let's say, when you are defending. So, because you really want to take the exact amount of damage just on the whole of the shield and then pull back. It's a lot trickier to micro. You can definitely do it, but if there are any latency issues, you might prefer to be playing something where Zealots just, do it on their own. You don't have to control that much each individual Zealot. And it's going to be a 2-player map, Lobotomy.
Yeah, 2-player map, Lobotomy.
And inverted ramp. So, this screams 2-gate.
It really does. It really does scream 2-gate. Oh, man. Well, we'll have to see what these two end up choosing here. Both our players are ready to go, folks, so let's jump into game number 3 here. MiStrZZZ versus OyA on Lobotomy.
Let's go.
And spawning top left side of Lobotomy as the blue Protoss, it is MiStrZZZ.
And at the bottom right, in the red, that's Protoss. It is gonna be OyA.
Yeah, this was not a map I was expecting to see here. Lobotomy, kind of a new addition to the map pool. Definitely one that would benefit players who actually are spending time practicing outside of the ladder, obviously, because this is such a unique map. It's not in the ladder pool. It's 2 players, so things could be scary here if you're OyA, right? And we're immediately seeing the fastest scout that we've seen out of OyA so far.
I mean, I understand it perfectly well, right? The only game that the one game that he did lose, he lost partially because he didn't scout. You see, where he is scouting, he's essentially looking for proxy gates. And so, how much of a difference one probe is, like early scouting with a probe? It's essentially only matters in very specific scenarios. So it's not something that will make you win or lose the game, but it can sometimes change the difference between dropping an XSL a little bit sooner, dropping another gate a little bit sooner. So if you're going for extreme, like very well-timed attacks, sometimes that difference is noticeable. But for the most part, it won't be. So scouting early in PvP doesn't put you behind. Let's call it that.
It looks like MiStrZZZ gas is about 50 gas ahead. So that's one little difference so far between their 2 builds.
And yeah, I mean, also I don't see the second pylon right now, but I think he should have a second pylon going somewhere. Yeah, just because that's standard to get the solid. And is it going to be ranged right away? I think it could be. No, it's just going to be a Dragoon first. Okay, so Dragoon first to push the probe out, and then range.
There we go. Yeah, just range after Dragoon.
So the reason that the probe, you want to try to keep it as long as possible is because you want to see if the range is cancelled. Because even if the range gets cancelled after you leave, all that additional time that the range was spinning and you didn't put, like, say, a citadel, it gives you more time to get your own protection. So this is like a little bit of a timing thing, but mostly it's just so that they can't really do something crazy too early.
We're seeing a faster second gateway out of OyA here. Could be a good call, I think, with the reverse ramp leading to your natural here. Like, obviously, pressuring the natural is going to be a high priority on this map.
It's also interesting because it usually, like, the idea of catching your opponent and being able to take their ramp will usually only work if you're already winning the fight itself. So you're only going to do that if they are not producing the same amount of units like you are, but are going for some tech. So it is possible that you are getting pushed down your ramp, but then you have to take care of something like a possible elevator plus reaver. So it's in the early stages in one-base PvP. It's only really powerful if you manage to lock somebody down before you get to the point where they're citadel.
No way! I can't believe this.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I can't believe that's bizarre.
I mean, so here's the thing though. If you scout that, like the range normal upgrade, and then you're going citadel, that's a bit weird because you are making either. The only thing I can think of is speedlots, because that late DT usually doesn't do anything. Like, most Protosses will have the observe early, just because it's not only good against DT, it can tell you the positioning of the army of the enemy, and if you know that, you can engage in an angle where you will always trade better than they do. And that essentially is very valuable in PvP. So I would say that OyA is going to put some pressure right away with his Dragoons. I mean, he is pretty much in the same position as his opponent.
Yeah, they're even on unit count here. Oh, he does get the better engage.
Much better engage. But there's an additional Dragoon now.
Yeah, OyA's got to watch out. This is not going to trade well for him.
I mean, he did lose a little bit of health on one of the Dragoons. Okay, basically I think what OyA is trying to do is he's trying to make sure that Miss thinks that he is basically going something like a 3-gate, so he doesn't make an observer, but makes a reaver, but the observer's already out. And
yeah, the observer's already out, moving across the map here, and I don't know, man. This
well,
is just
there is another thing. DTs do a lot of damage. So if there is a scrappy fight, you can win the fight just because your DTs do a lot of damage. But that's not probably going to happen now because we're losing so many dragoons.
Yeah, this is definitely clear advantage to MiStrZZZ, and obviously has the tech advantage too. I mean, the observer's going to see the Nexus. It's going to see the DTs moving across the map.
I mean,
yeah,
maybe the DTs can sneak through. Oh, that's actually a good trade so far. That's 2 dragoons fighting 4,
nice
and you still win. That's not bad. The DTs, I think, were scouted. Yes, so I can see the ops already moving backwards.
Yeah, he's moving home. It looks like he wants to block his ramp leading into his main. Probably the right call here.
If you block the ramp with the DT as he is trying to get back into his main, you can get all of the dragoons for free sometimes, but that's probably not going to happen because we see already a good positioning for Miss with his dragoons, but he doesn't have the ops yet here. No, he doesn't have.
Great position. Wow.
Yeah, you can block now with the DTs and probably kill all of this. If you kill the dragoons, you still win. You don't need to kill just the probes, but I think MiStrZZZ is relatively smartly trying to trade the dragoons, not just lose them. He's still defending this. So.
Still, it was a good amount of damage that
Yes.
OyA was able to find. So, I mean, probably the best he could have done given the situation.
The only 3 gates. Okay, that's fine. I was wondering, like, how are you going to survive the counter? Because there is another observer, so like you should be able to defend. Whoa, what? That's a lot of gates very early. Okay, I think you do need them, but I'm surprised. DT coming back. If the DT is going to buy you any time or do any damage, maybe you can somehow get back into this. Oh no, this is gonna see this right away. Nah, this is probably not gonna work for OyA.
Yeah,
and there is already a Reaver. Yeah, if you get pushed down and there is a Reaver, you're not coming out.
Very well done here from MiStrZZZ. Recognizes his situation here, position, putting more and more pressure with this group of Dragoons. Finally, a couple more Dragoons coming in here for OyA. He might be able to restabilize this natural somehow.
I mean, he could, but at the same time, even if the Reaver is just like killing 1 or 2 Dragoons at a time, you still probably win this.
And here it is. Reaver does join the fight. Probes moving back into OyA's natural here, trying to help defend.
And remember that observers still keep giving vision of how many units there are and where they are.
Ooh, wow, nice Reaver Scarab there from MiStrZZZ.
And another good shot.
Oh, shuttle's very low.
Yeah, but the Reaver's still doing damage.
Yeah, he sure is. Big pickup here.
Bigs the Reaver. That last shot, like, it probably won't be enough to actually survive this attack anymore. But if that Reaver was alive, the game's end. It's done. With this, there is like maybe a chance because you do have a lot of gates and your Nexus is actually finished. So no, I think too many defense. No, this is gonna be too much. Now that they are in the main and that they can snipe things as they exit the gateways, I don't think you can defend this anymore.
Yeah, he's on the probe line here, starting to do some serious damage to the economy. OyA forced to pull probes from his main to his natural just to mine.
It's still barely too many Dragoons from this to be able to for OyA to hold this. Barely, like he's not that far from it, but yeah, he does it. He does it, and I think he was very happy. I think he was very happy there.
I think so, man, and well deserved.
I gotta say, yeah, I would be happy too. Like, that's a pretty good showing, considering PvP is such a tricky matchup, and considering that you're playing against OyA. Oof. Getting out first in the group, that's pretty impressive. So, congratulations to Mr.
Yeah, big congratulations there, especially with this being such a strong group, right? You have Doodle, Jimin, OyA obviously is a phenom. So yeah, big win there for Misters, and he will end up moving on to the round of 16, taking first in the group. So yeah, very well done there. And that will be that for our winners finals today. We still have a couple more matches up next though. First up is going to be our losers match. Doodle, who fell to Misters earlier today, as well as Jimin, who fell in a close series to OyA. With the winner of that series facing off against OyA in the losers finals for today's group. So yeah, with that, folks, I think we're going to go to a short break here. Don't go too far away. We're going to be back here in just a few minutes with some more BSL action.
All right, see you soon, guys.
what's up, everyone? Welcome back to BSL18 Group F. Joining me once again here is Catspaw, and we have been witnessing some amazing StarCraft so far today. Winners finals just wrapped up, and believe it or not, Mr. is taking first place in this group. But we're not done yet. We have a couple more matches left, for the remainder of today. And next up, it's going to be Doodle versus Jimin PvZ on Apocalypse to kick things off here.
Well, I mean, if I am Doodle and I saw the games that were being casted before with OyA, I would definitely understand, okay, yeah, I got my work cut out for me, and I need to scout everything all the time. But at the same time, if Jimin decides to play something more standard, probably he can do it as well. Like, his MMR is high enough that I would expect him to be able to play a variety of builds. But being aggressive against Protoss is good.
And he absolutely can. He just leans towards being quite an aggressive Zerg. The one thing I gotta say is Doodle is a fellow North American, player, so he is much likely more familiar with Jimin's style. In fact, I know he knows how Jimin plays, so he will be expecting that pressure, whereas this might have been one of the first times OyA has really run across Jimin, so at least Doodle will have that kind of advantage going for him here. But yeah, with that, map is Apocalypse. Great map for, I would say, Zerg. I'm a huge fan of this map. If I can ever pick it in a series against Protoss, I definitely do so.
It's a hard map because the Protoss does need to take either take the other bases away or somehow punish the Zerg taking them, because otherwise you are in a tricky spot, right? You are going to get out microed.
Yeah, you just get completely out microed. But yeah, we are ready to go, folks. So let's jump into game one here on Apocalypse. And spawning at bottom right as the red Protoss hailing from Canada, it is DoodleDoodle.
And his opponent, who is going to be the blue Zerg at the bottom left, is going to be Jimin.
So Jimin's scouting the wrong way with the Overlord, can't be helped. Oh, this is a 9 hatch. I'm a huge fan of this build. I love that Jimin is doing this. I think it's such an underrated build on 3-player maps. It's cool to see another Zerg doing this, actually.
I like this a lot because, yes, you delay a little bit some of your economy, but because the amount of larva you have initially tends to not be that large anyway, if you're going to play something a little bit aggressive on 2 hatcheries, you still should have enough economy.
You definitely do, especially the way he's building this. He actually is going Overlord before Pool as well. I feel like for a long time, Zergs were basically executing 9 hatch in an inferior way, where they would go 9 hatchery, then Pool, then Overlord. This, by going Overlord before Pool, significantly increases your economy. Yes, there is still a threat that, basically Jimin could just make 8 Zerglings here from the start, and you have to have 2 cannons. Or at the same time, he just powers drones, and you can really have, bolster your economy very quickly here.
I mean, how does this fare against the cannon rush, though? Because
it is actually fast enough to handle a cannon rush as well.
That's what because I was looking at it when Doodle was already reaching the natural, and looking from that timing of the hatchery, he should know that this is not a Pool first. I was wondering whenever that would even be a thing. But I like how Doodle is handling this. He sees that there are very few larvae, and he realizes he can drop the gate before putting the cannon, which is a very large difference for a Protoss, due to the fact that once you have that and you just go straight into tech, you can do it extremely quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It does not hinder your Corsair timing at all. He should still have a very fast Stargate. Was that a second gateway? Whoa.
Yeah.
Doodle.
So, I remember the double gate when Zergs used to take a far away third, because then with the 2 gates, the links could not be everywhere at once, and it was possible to trade efficiently. However, in this case, where 3 bases are going to be together, I don't think that is as strong. Unless
if it goes,
it's scouted.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say the same thing. If it goes unscouted, there's always that potential that more zealots, bigger problem. But we'll have to see. So far, no Overlord in the main or the natural of Doodle here. So if this goes unscouted for too long and Jimin, ends up not really making the unit count he might need. Actually, we already see the Hydra Den I completed inside Jimin's main. So
he's scouted.
Yeah, he's shown he is dedicated to Hydras at this point in the game. So
this would be the time when I would be shoving the zealots with the 2 gate and trying to actually put pressure into this, because if you are trying to delay anything here and buy yourself some time, especially when you see stealth drones being produced.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. This has been a lot of drones being produced here.
But the Hydras are out. I mean, I don't know.
Once Hydra speed's done,
yeah,
then really Protoss is in trouble here. So I'm kind of feeling like this is maybe a little bit more concerning for Protoss than
you can still try to snipe drones, which essentially makes the economy much worse. And because the economy of the Protoss is good enough to continue from this point on.
Whoa, 3 cannons already.
It depends.
I think that's too early.
He can still cancel. He can still cancel them. He scouts with the zealots. Sees the.
I don't think he's going to. Yeah. I mean, because all the Hydras are on this side of the map. Like, he really needed to delay those. Still, though, taking engagement on the high ground and backing up here. Does get a Zergling for his troubles.
But he's gonna lose all these zealots like this, which. Yeah, okay, sending 1 zealot to check how many Hydras, then taking all of them back, the rest, that's fine. It's not a bad move.
Yeah, it's not bad here. He is actually getting those additional cannons. I don't really feel like he's truly in danger of just having his natural busted, given the amount of zealots and cannons he has. But, there is no Corsair tech.
Well, that's kind of what he gave up for the idea of saying, okay, this is going to be a Hydra, bust probably, so I'm just gonna go a lot of zealots plus speed plus 1, and then from there we will see, I guess. But I mean, those 2 zealots is not great to lose them. I wouldn't say it's game ending, because he gets to scout. He scouts another hatchery, so he knows that there is a good chance that this is not going to be a bust anymore.
Ooh, he also sees there's no lair, though. I mean, you gotta be feeling good if there's no lair at this point in the game.
No OyA as well, so no upgrades. Yeah, just pure Hydras and just maybe a little bit more economy, but that's it.
Drone count's not great.
Yeah, it's kind of like that 973 kind of, not exactly that, but
I mean, it basically is. It might as well be with a 4th hatchery on the way.
You could call it that, definitely, but I think that it's a little bit of a different style approach. That's a lot of cannons and zealots. I don't think you break this.
I don't think so either. I think Doodle's done everything he needs to hold this. Still no lair. There is a 4th hatchery, which makes me think that Jimin is, at least at some point, considering transitioning out of this. But yeah, look at the cannon placement's perfect. I mean, Doodle did exactly what he needed to do to hold this.
Plus,
now starting to mine his natural gas.
Speed should be on the way for the zealots, right? So if you commit to this, and you say kill all the cannons, but you lose half or more of your Hydras, and now the zealots get speed, you get run over with this. So
Jimin's all in. There's no drones. There's
also,
no lair.
Look at the amount of zealots that he's hiding in the back. Like, he probably doesn't want to show these zealots that much. So that he's gonna run out. Okay.
He has speed already. No.
That's enough.
Yeah, Jimin really getting caught out of position here. He will move in with the remaining Hydra force.
And this is starting to look like
Jimin
is going to run out of steam eventually, because
in February 2024,
first of all, the upgrade should finish
with
-2
drones build.
And at the same time, if you look at the amount of bases that are being put in the main, I think there were 2. Oh, Storm is done. Well, High Templars. Maybe Storm isn't done, but we have High Templars. And the Overlord sees them. So Jimin knows if I don't go in, I'm eventually gonna get Stormed.
Yeah, he has to go. +1 just finished on the Forge as well.
Yeah, you want to keep the Zealots back for a while. You don't want to. And now you can show them. Pretty good.
Alright.
Oh,
That's a lot of Hydras.
That's a lot of DPS.
Yeah, that is just a lot of damage. I mean, I feel like most of those Zealots just evaporated. Still, though, the cannon line holds
It's
strong.
fine. It's fine. You have Storm, and you're gonna have more gates. This is still fine. Like, you didn't die to this, and when you get Storm, this is shut down. This is how. It's scary, but you're fine.
This is easily held. I mean, Jimin needs to recognize it's it's the 9-minute mark. Like, we need to start getting drones. We need to start upgrading, working on tech. Instead, he just continues the Hydra production.
Okay, there's the lair.
There's lair.
The
and
Evo. Okay, some more drones. I don't know if that's gonna be enough. How many High Templars? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 High Templars, and Doodle is sending a few souls. This is actually one of the problems of not having Corsair. Doodle is really worried. Why are you not attacking? Like, shouldn't you be trying to kill me? Did you take 2 more bases? Like, what's going on here? And essentially, those 3 zealots, I think, are there, and another few are just to run and see what is going on. And
yeah, I mean,
he doesn't know, right? He doesn't know what Jimin is doing. So I understand this, but at the same time, he is bleeding a few units here and there, which gives a chance for Jimin.
Yeah, it does give a chance for Jimin. It's exactly what Jimin needs to maybe get in this one. Oh, he looks like killed a drone there. Not the worst.
For his troubles.
But either way, there's a lot of Templar finally out on the field. They're stacking a lot of gas, and we know that Jimin's tech obviously is behind, considering the opening. I would like to see a big Dragoon Zealot Storm timing that tries to hit before Lurker here, or Spire even.
I mean, you probably want to get out as soon as you... The problem is that the amount of Zealots that died means that right now it's not possible actually to get out. Like, the Hydras that you saw already would kill you. So, because you can fight against the Dragoons until they have pretty much +2 armor. Before that, they're kind of too weak. So you need the Zealots, right, for buffer. And right now we have the Dragoons, we have a few Zealots, and we have a few High Templars. Just one more round, and he's probably gonna go.
I think it's a good timing. I mean, he has to be aware that this timing is available. We're seeing him stack a little bit of minerals here, 800 minerals. He could definitely afford to put third Nexus down and begin that at this point. I thought he would have more Templar, actually. Only 3 Templar we're seeing.
You don't want to have too many Templars, because you are not going to be able to storm all of them anyway. Like, in a very, very late game, sure, maybe you can have like 6, but having more than 4 tends to be a nuisance.
Ooh, good pickup there from Jimin.
And Storm is really not that great. Storm's mostly his own units. And, I mean, this is still a strong push, but the High Templar, the Muta's probably coming right now. This means that you either start pushing already so you can storm the Hydras and this fight ends, or you're gonna have to deal with the Mutas.
I gotta say, supplies looking pretty even. Oh yeah, the storms are great though.
Oh
man,
my God, that's
storm
a good
on the
Oh, the only problem is high ground, but everything else really good. And another storm.
That was game ender. That was the biggest storm I've seen in a while. That couldn't have been more mistimed. Oh man.
I mean, the weather was definitely rainy with storm.
Yeah, man, it was a rainy day there for sure on Apocalypse.
Those High Templars banked so much energy that I think each of them had 2. I don't know if they had 3 storms, but that's why, like, I think Jimin said, "Okay, you're out of storms at this point, right? And you are on the low ground, so I'm fighting this."
Yep. Oh man. I think Muta was the right call either way. It was only three Templar. You know, the window was very close there where maybe if the Mutas came out a few seconds earlier, he was able to snipe those Templar before the storms get off and he could make a play. But man, Doodle just had impeccable timing there, and I mean, just
Yeah.
great storms. That's all that was, man. That was amazing.
You could say that backing up with the Hydras and then waiting for the Mutas to kill the High Templars would be a good move, but then you're giving up the high ground. So, one or the other. And there were enough goons that could start being a problem.
True.
So,
Yeah, you're
eh.
not wrong.
But good push, and especially very good like defense initially against the Hydra. So Doodle also because let's be fair, the probe lived a little bit too long probably for Jimin. Like the probe saw the Hydra, then like at that point you were a little bit into trouble.
Right,
But,
you're just giving up your plan. Like, what else could it be at that point?
yeah. But good game from very good game from Doodle. Definitely controlled the game. So Jimin needs something new, something different.
Well, we know he's got a lot planned and a lot of different openers, right? Just given what we've seen before, it could be anything at this point. One thing's for sure: whenever he picks a map, he has something planned. I keep thinking back to what we saw earlier on Neo Dark Origin versus OyA with the where he mined out that back mineral and did a speedling run by. Like, I mean, who does something like that, right? He really has a lot of different builds that he could potentially open with, and whatever it is, it's going to be scary, it's going to be quick, and it's going to be early.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this game didn't go very well for him, but you know, the games that he opened with speedlings were very difficult for the process that he was playing against. Like even the games that OyA won, they felt difficult, like not easy to just win. So maybe he wants to go back to that a little bit. I will see, because this game didn't look like Jimin was going to lose it straight up. It looked like, okay, anybody can take these fights. We'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, too many storms. Like this was so many storms at the time that it was not enough for him to just hold with the Hydra and the late games. But Neo Dark Orange, okay. Doodle, please tell me you watched the games that OyA played, because
I would assume he's watched him. Yeah.
You're gonna be surprised.
He could definitely be surprised if he wasn't watching that earlier series. But I mean, still, just even having that in your head, right? Well, you know, if you're Doodle, you're definitely making that pylon near that back entrance at this point. You have to. They've already shown it. So yeah, we'll have to see what Jimin's up to here. He obviously has a plan. But yeah, both our players are ready to go, folks. So let's jump into game number 2 here. Doodle versus Jimin on Neo Dark Origin.
Let's go.
And spawning bottom right as the red Zerg. Currently down 0-1. It is Jimin.
And at the top left, we're gonna have the blue Kronos. It is DoodleDoodle, who is one game away from moving on to face OyA, if he can take it.
We're seeing a very fast probe scout from Doodle, actually.
I think 2-player map. Maybe he just doesn't want to be surprised with something like a 4-pool. Hard to say, honestly.
This is weird. That's a weird path.
He doesn't want to show it to the Overlord pretty much, but I'm wondering why would that matter?
Maybe Zerg might be trying to go hatch first. You know, I'll tell you this. Sometimes when I'm choosing to be greedy, I go 9 hatch and try to take the hatch at the natural, and yeah, probes will get me with this.
I think like if you are trying to put even like a 12 right hatch, and you have the drone ready, but you see the probe is coming, you can hide it behind the minerals so that the probe will go to the main, and then you can drop it for free. But yeah, that's the only thing that came to my mind, realistically.
We're going to get to see a different opener here from Doodle. You know, when we saw this gas opener out of Jimin versus OyA on this map, it was a gate first, and now we're seeing Forge first. I wonder how that's really gonna come into play here versus defending this.
You can't telegraph this anymore, right? Like, yeah, it is gonna be speed links.
And I mean, Forge is great versus speedlings. I don't see.
mean, the only thing
Oh no, that's a big blunder. You can't lose the probe like that. There's no way the probe doesn't make it out.
doesn't need to. If you keep the links there.
I mean, you.
Is it?
There's
Is
no
it?
way he's gonna get out.
Nah,
Yeah.
no. I mean, it's. So here's the thing. I agree, but considering that you sell, but it's basically speed links, I mean, it's not gonna live that much longer anyway.
He could have
It's not
canceled
great, though.
speed and just
Oh,
gone
yeah.
layer right now.
True.
True. Yeah.
It's not
But
great. Oh, he's sending another one. Wait, and it's gonna go around again. Yeah.
second gateway.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
It
Yeah,
worked.
if
It worked before, so maybe it's gonna work again.
It worked last time for sure. Speed's kicked in now, and there's only one
One
cannon,
cannon,
and
and
it's
there's
not
nothing.
walled.
Yes.
Oh, come on. I feel like this is... Oh, Jimin didn't go for it, though. Okay, the second probe got there just in time.
Yeah.
So I was...
Good idea, because like obviously you should realize that, hey, I'm kind of open with this. Like,
Yeah, just a little vulnerable.
just one cannon. I mean, here's the thing though. Doodle gets another scout, and I think Jimin now is probably really upset because you spent gas on the speed links, and you spent.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Jimin has the different view of the world than anybody else, I guess. This. So what? This is lurkers to kill the temples at the back.
I think so. I think it's either lurkers to kill the temples at the back, or lurkers to kill
The cannons at
and
the front.
contain the front. It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this is tricky because if you start putting cannons at the front because you see the lurkers and then he comes at the back, you need the cannons then at the back as well. So this is a lot of like minerals that you're gonna have to dump into cannons. But at the same time, the only way to deal with this that isn't like mass cannon is to go Reaver, I think, because you don't really have anything that deals damage fast enough to the lurkers to catch them and kill them unless you, I don't know, surround them and get lucky or something like that. So
That's
early
a
on-
hard read. That is a really tough read to make too, right?
Yeah.
To have that optimal Reaver change versus this. If you're Doodle, you know this could be anything
Yes.
at this point, and it's likely Muta because who opens 2-hatch lurker?
But
CP?
pushing, I think you'd see more links at this point. I might be wrong, but I think if you're pushing with 4 zealots and they let you get that deep, you should keep pushing because they're okay. You see the hydras, but here's the thing. You would think that this is the thing that happened before, right? You would start putting cannons at the front. I think. You wouldn't be thinking, oh, this is just lurkers. Although he did stay in the air, I guess.
Yeah, I would definitely think this has got to be a 2-hatch Hydra timing. So I don't disagree with you there. Still, I mean, there's not much. Oh, it is speed. It is speed.
So it's gonna be drops with this? Where are the overlords? Or where are the overlords moving? Are they trying to get in position? No.
It could be drop.
But they're not
Oh,
getting
man,
in position yet.
He might be able to pick this forge off. He's got to go though.
I mean,
those cannons are not completed.
The economy is still so low for the Zag that for now you're fine as the pros. Like 2 hatches just like okay, but shouldn't be that.
Oh, that's not going to get scouted.
Yeah, he
This
managed
could be
to,
a very big run by.
I mean, seeing the additional hatch, because I think that's a hatch, right? Is gonna be good. But yeah, and also seeing the drone count, I think it was huge. Because if this was a 973, like you'd see, I think, a few more drones here, and he's gonna get into the main, scout more hydras with speed, and then, I mean, lurkers or drops, right? This is the only thing that comes to my mind. So you probably want a lot of dragoons with ops
With
if
no
you can get there.
with no natural gas, I don't know if that's possible. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
you
obviously
might be right.
putting zealots in the main.
You might be
I
right.
just don't know
It
if
might
he
not be
can do.
possible.
I just genuinely think this might just have to be a pure Hydra all in. And there's 6 cannons. There's 2 gateways with zealots. I don't know. I think this is somehow just like an easy hold here from.
So
Doodle.
in general and purposely, yes, I do agree because I didn't expect this. I didn't think about the fact that without the gas in the natural, you probably don't have the chance to go for even Lucas. Oh, there is the drop.
Oh, it was dropped. Wow, you could afford that without
I
natural
think
gas?
because he started the drop first, and then he went for the hydras. The hydras were kind of late
Wow.
anyway.
This might be what he needs.
I mean, here's the problem though. The Protoss is actually going to have a little bit of units. If he micros correctly, he might be able to. Okay, he's not going to be fighting the hydras just yet. Oh, okay. If it all unloads, then yeah, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, this is not going to look good here for Doodle. There's no cannons in the main either. So, I mean, this many Hydralisks. Great job pulling the probes, by the way. They are at least getting on top of some of these Hydralisks and able to deal some significant damage. But we're seeing the supply just drop here for Doodle. I mean, actually, he's got 5 Dragoons and there's only 7 Hydras remaining. 6 Dragoons now. Wow, did he just hold this?
I think so. I think that the biggest problem with this is that you don't have the economy and you don't have the production necessary to continue doing this.
We're seeing cannons now going in the main, more probes being pulled
yeah,
off
probes,
the
if the probes
here.
die, it's fine, so long as you have a few enough units to keep fighting this.
Yeah, there is, so many gateways up now. We're seeing more and more pure Dragoon out of Doodle here, and even a retreat now with these Overlords picking up those remaining Hydralisks.
If you pick any of the Overlords, that's another problem.
And there's more Overlords coming in here. Oh, that one's so close. I don't know. No additional drones. 8, not even full saturation in the main here for Jimin.
The only problem is that Doodle did pull a lot of probes, and I don't know if he had enough to keep producing from all of these gates. Because I guess he has range at this point for the Dragoons. But you can see a lot of them were really, really bruised, so...
Yeah, 2 of them falling very quickly there. So this is very close.
The cannons, though, the
cannons are exactly what he needs to rely on here. We're seeing 1 cannon fall. There is a second one defending that mineral line, so... but maybe Jimin could pick off a gateway here. Actually, nope. Looks like that's going to be it.
I think he got a little bit too frustrated at some point. I think this was still... Maybe not a win for him, but maybe there was still a chance, but I think he got just too frustrated at some point because he had at some point enough Hydras to actually kill the Dragoons before the cannons were there. So maybe if he could control that a little bit better to get away from the probes and keep shooting, but
yeah, it was close. It was definitely very close. When the first 3 Overlords came in, I was also thinking to myself, Jimin, I couldn't believe Jimin pulled that back. Maybe if he did a little bit of, harass, dropped a Overlord full of Hydras behind the natural simultaneously or something, he might have been able to get it done. But with that, Doodle takes a very convincing 2-0 victory over Jimin, and he moves on to face OyA in the loser bracket finals, for Group F. So yeah, this is going to be a tricky one, for sure.
And he didn't beat Jimin, and OyA had more difficulties with Jimin, so who knows, right?
Yep. OyA also had, difficulties with MiStrZZZ, obviously, going into this. So, just kind of looking at that, OyA off a fresh loss to MiStrZZZ, Doodle, off a convincing 2-0 victory versus Jimin. So, maybe Doodle here might be able to ride that momentum and, have a very strong series here against OyA.
I mean, it's a bit of a tricky one, right? Because it's a very, the matchup is less, let's say, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's more straightforward to know PvP what you want to do, and its execution matters a lot. So it might be a little bit trickier for Doodle to play against OyA, but I didn't expect him to beat Jimin that easily. Easily. I wouldn't say easily, but he won it properly. He didn't just cheese a win. He properly won. So we'll see how well he can do. And I'll be honest, if he does beat OyA, that would be an upset. But we MiStrZZZ won, and I was surprised about that as well. So.
Same. Yeah, I mean, there's already been at least one upset so far today, so he might be able to carry it forward and take another make another big upset here. But there's we can't really dance around it too much. Like OyA is just such a strong player, especially PvP. Who cares? If he ended up falling to
Mark
MiStrZZZ in a
Axer is
close
sub at Gosu
series
for 5
earlier
months.
today. He is still
Doodle.
a big threat here, and Doodle is going to have a pretty serious competition ahead of him here to try to take this second slot in Group F.
Yeah, at the same time, I do have to say that Doodle, I liked a lot his playstyle because he wasn't trying to be super fancy or super like, how would I call it, crazy multitasking and putting zealots everywhere and doing, like, he knew more or less what he wanted to do. He just scouts with some of them and then, okay, yeah, fine, I'll do my timing. He scouts properly what Jimin was doing with going around with the probe, so it doesn't get scouted and he doesn't lose it. So generally speaking, he knew pretty much what he wanted to do and it worked. So that's not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, that second gateway, being able to pressure versus Jimin ended up being a pretty big factor in both their games, I'd say. Anytime Zerg doesn't have that third hatchery and you're kind of just able to throw zealots at them, you're at least going to scout what they're doing. And likely Zerg could take some serious, economy damage, which we saw. So, but yeah, completely different matchup here. It's going to be, a pretty tough one here for Doodle, especially Doodle falling 0-2 to MiStrZZZ earlier, today, first game of the day. So yeah, we'll have to see what he ends up, choosing to open with here. First map is going to be Citadel, and once again, it's going to be another best of 3 here. So Citadel, big 4-player map. I wouldn't really expect to see any kind of proxy gate from either player, just given that, it is a big 4-player map. You can't really guarantee where your opponent's going to spawn. So yeah, should be interesting here.
I mean, you could theoretically want to do something like this. I think, if I remember correctly, the way PvP works is if you want to do a double gate proxy on a big 4-player map, you just go to the middle base between the other 2 bases that are not, yours, and hope,
Your side of the map.
Yeah, you go to the other side of the map and you hope that 3 to 2, like these 2 to 1 odds work in your favor, essentially. And if it doesn't, well, GG. But if it does, now I still didn't win, of course, if I did that, but I have at least like a shot. But it's generally speaking, I think that the proxy 2 gate is something that not only you need to know like how you want to do it, but you need to know how to follow it up, because it is not uncommon for that game to become a really weird like stalemate between shield batteries, zealots, sometimes even cannons. And if you don't have a very clear read on how you want to continue that kind of pressure, you can fall apart because suddenly your opponent, for example, because they decided to be defensive, they now have dragoons and you don't, or something like this. It's not like it always works that way, but it is something that definitely, if you're proxying, you probably need to have the read of when I'm changing to something else, which
when that transition's going to happen. Okay.
Yeah, because if you transition too early, you lose to the zealots and you lose the game. If you transition too late, you're going to lose to the tech. So both of these things aren't that easy to pull off. I expect OyA to know how to do this. I don't know, because Doodle had problems with MiStrZZZ, but then again, it's a different match, so we'll see how he wants to play against OyA.
Yep, it is.
Oh.
Okay. All right, I think we're going to another shot of a different group here. But yeah, still just
we're gonna
preparing
have
this
to
last.
wait a second here for one of the players. So before we get there, we're going to be checking out here some of the groups and how the players that we already have there. And you can see different baskets and seeds. Seeds Mihu, Dawid, Bonnie, and Ziki. I mean, that if those 4 players were in one group, that wouldn't be a group of death. That would be just death. So
Yeah.
That's a very strong lineup already. But when you look at the basket, like Nyoken has been doing very well lately. Dragon, I love his PVC. always love to watch it, how he plays it.
Always. He is
JD
such a
Conan,
menace.
yeah, like so many of his players. JD Conan doing great. Our two Chinese players, I don't want to butcher the names exactly. Zhang Xuan, hard to say for
Zanhun,
me.
yep.
Zanhun, okay, yeah. These are, I remember those names from other BSLs. Very, very good players, both of them. So just those players, we haven't even gotten to the basket too, and we already have a lot of very, very strong players.
Absolutely, man. I mean, any one of these could be a contender to take it, to take the entire BSL this season. You know, I mean, there's no fat on any of these names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the point. And then you look at StRyKeR, who I've watched a lot of games, and I wouldn't say he's like at the level of Ziki, but I would say he's right under him. Like he's very close to that. So it's like really good for Zerg. Then you have Boa, who I remember having one of the best like macro games where he sacrificed his army twice into a Terran, got nothing, and he still won because he auto macroed him. So like crazy macro. Then Terran, obviously. Yeah, very good Terran. Actually, one of the very few Terrans that we have at all here. Crossy, another very strong Zerg. Not one that I follow that much, but I know he's very strong because I've seen some of his games. And Gypsy, I remember when he beat Mihu. Right?
Yes.
So yeah, so this is like in general, there's very few players here who I would say like are gonna have like a hard time. Like I would say all of them are going to really struggle to win everything, but all of them are going to have good chances to beat other players. It just depends who you get, right? Like maybe not the matchup that you particularly like or are good at. That one might be more difficult, but if you get your matchup, you can take pretty much anybody here, except maybe it's going to be difficult against DeWalt, right?
DeWalt, Bonif,
Bonif.
Mihu. Yeah,
I mean,
those
yeah,
are...
but Mihu, yeah, Gypsy took down Mihu. Like that happens. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't
it wasn't
make him
like
weak
some
though.
cheeky weird thing. It was some cheeky weird thing. It was a really good game. So I remember watching it and thinking, wow, I didn't know Gypsy was that good. I knew he was good, but not that good. So
Yeah, Gypsy is insanely good. We also have a great mixture of everyone. I think it's, 4 Terran, 5 Zerg, 5 Protoss, so pretty evenly distributed for this late into the BSL. But yeah, folks, with that, sounds like both of our players are ready. Map 1 being Citadel. Let's go ahead and jump into our losers finals here. It's going to be Doodle facing off against OyA. Oh, okay. I think we gotta remake real quick.
oh yeah. We don't
never
see
mind.
the game.
We don't see the game.
Yeah, we don't see the game.
Okay.
We see,
I think we could switch feeds. So there we go.
all right.
Okay, so top right here, spawning as the red Protoss, it is Doodle.
All right. And at the bottom right, we're going to be having the blue Protoss. It is going to be OyA.
Alrighty. Well, they are at least like close vertical positions here. Citadel is kind of an odd map in that there's not really a ramp leading to the main. It's kind of this weird thing.
This egg not ramp, but ramp.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
It is high ground, right? Like the top of the
I think it is because
I'm pretty sure
it looks like
yeah.
it. But I don't know if all of it is high ground or only like the actual top of it is high ground. That's what I'm not really sure how that works. But it looks like high ground.
Oh wow, look at that. OyA opening with a 2 gate here to start things off.
Yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is because of that ramp. The ramp doesn't really give you that much of an edge, I believe, in here. Because like the biggest edge in a ramp is not necessarily the line of the ramp. It's just all of the things that can be on top of the ramp when you're pushing up to it and just hammer anything here. Here it's, you can still shoot the ramp from the other side. So it's like, it's not exactly the same as powerful. Oh, wait.
Ooh,
wow.
Manor Pylon.
This actually surprises me because I thought in 2 gates, manor piloting is something that only makes sense if you are legitimately going for probe with this. You're just gonna only shove zealots. And if I remember correctly, when this happens, what you do is you do a second gate as the as Doodle. And because that investment on the pilots gets in here, you might have a situation where you can basically not out macro, but out unit the opponent because he loses so many pilots. However, you have to be on point with pretty much your pro production and also not losing anything, which easier said than done.
Yeah, easier said than done. We're even seeing OyA get a gas, so he, is looking to transition out of this at some point.
Doodle is going to use his probes to fight this. However, he has to be really careful because, yeah, if he could get the probes to fight near the shield battery, he would be fine with this. He does kill the probe from OyA, so this is a 1-for-1 in terms of probes. And even though OyA, yes, he is going to have more zealots, you have to remember that there is shield battery. And yeah, that's why OyA is directly going into the probes. You probably want the probes to not really fight this much, you just want them to go back and use the shield battery if they are getting attacked. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that well for Doodle. I think he's losing a little bit too much control. But at the same time, he is killing the zealots.
Yeah, he is killing the zealots.
He's lost his own units.
He's been losing a lot of mining time, though, with all the probes shuffling around.
Yeah, that's why you can see such a disparity in the army supply and the population supply, because of the large amount of delay and the 2 gate against the 1 gate.
So those Dragoons have to go all the way up to the ramp to see.
You would use
zealots.
the zealot for that, yeah, and then you can
Yeah.
back off with the zealot and basically shield it up again. But at this point, I think this might actually be too much to deal with for Doodle, because he's gonna have 5 zealots at this point. You probably can just dive again on this and keep killing probes. Oh, is he gonna catch? Yes.
Just catches that zealot instantly. Yep.
Yeah, it was
falls.
trying to
Oh,
get to
man.
the shield battery, but it doesn't. And now, yeah, more of the probes are gonna die. At this point, if you don't win on the counter attack, probably don't win.
Yeah, I mean, OyA's really just doing so much damage here. Even just choosing to surround the Dragoons now? I'm surprised he didn't stay in the mineral line, but he will get a Dragoon, actually.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that Doodle never managed to use his shield battery, because, like, he could have at least gotten, a little bit better with that, with the exchange. Now this exchange is very favorable for him. And it's mostly because of the also 1 gate into 2 gates, right? You just don't have the production to keep up with this.
More missed shots there from Doodle's Dragoons. He has to get all the way up into basically just face roll distance to those zealots, man. He's just walking into them at this point. And now OyA has 2 Dragoons of his own to kind of engage with.
I mean, soon maybe the range is going to finish for Doodle. He's going to have that advantage. But, I mean, honestly, I didn't know that the high ground works like that, because it doesn't feel like it should. It's so small. But the fact that it is not possible to see, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a big problem. 3rd gateway from OyA coming down, no robo yet. Meanwhile, I mean, Doodle's just split in every way. He's got a robo, has the 2 gateways. It's just, it just feels like OyA's starting to run away with it.
It's also the economy, right? The amount of economy that OyA should have over Doodle is such a hard thing to break now.
Doodle is getting that robo support
numbers, but the problem is that with the high ground, if you just stick the Dragoons on the high ground, you probably need zealots at this point for this. Because the Dragoons, if they're shooting at whatever is on the high ground, they're gonna miss. Yeah, you need the zealot.
I would have liked to see Doodle back up and use the shield battery, but
Yeah,
he's just gonna engage with weak Dragoons here.
I mean, I don't know who has the high ground at this point. This is like watching the Star Wars movie and just not knowing where the high ground is.
Yeah. It looks like it's gonna end up being OyA here, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay. It's unfortunate for Doodle how this went, because I think he was doing pretty okay at the start with the defense, but his probe drilling instead of using the shield battery kind of messed up a little bit his economy, already damaged by the solids.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And now he's starting to pick on probe after probe.
God. And the
Reaver is
now
exposed.
die.
Ooh, can't get to that battery. That's got to be game.
I mean, so it might not end right here, just because, you know, the ramp is so that this entrance is. No, actually, that's not good. I was going to say that the entrance is so small that maybe you could probably delay this, but yeah.
He even killed the eggs, so now the entrance is wider. More probes falling. It's just a. I mean, he's just going to slowly start trickling ahead here. We're even seeing a Nexus fall for OyA.
Well. I mean, here's the thing though. If that Reaver would survive and it would get to a shuttle, you could make the argument that going for a Nexus now is really like risking for no reason because you're already winning so hard. But if you after you kill that Reaver, it's kind of like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, this has got to be game here. GG probably going to be typed any second.
So many shots to get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really deceiving. That high ground is really deceiving. It's very difficult to tell like exactly how it works. But OyA played very well with that high ground. He understood like what he could get away with. And that Zealots, especially positioned on that high ground, waiting for the Dragoons, then backing off and going back at it again, was like really giving OyA very efficient trades for what the Zealot is against the Dragoon. So.
Definitely, yeah. Every time the Dragoons had to poke in there, even just to get the vision to be able to shoot those Zealots, they were, you know, the Zealots were able to kind of shave off all their, shield, and unfortunately, Doodle wasn't able to really utilize the shield battery to the best of what it probably could have been used. So that kind of just seemed to be a little bit of the disparity there, but still well done from Doodle. But OyA looking like he's playing in top form here so far.
Yeah, I guess also going for a double gate early on so that you get like an early lead is not a bad choice from OyA, since he probably felt that he was like in a good position to win it. So, and especially when he knew that the ramp would work like that. So it's pretty clear he understood from the start that, okay, even if I don't do much with the Zealots, I can still get a lot of value that way.
Yeah, he definitely did there. Got great value. Was able to, pick off that Reaver as well. As soon as it, got out of the Robo facility without even being able to fire a Scarab, it's always a nice bonus. So yeah, off to a very strong start, and that's on a 4-player map. So I wonder how Doodle might choose to kind of recover from here, and what he might choose for PvP. Doodle hasn't had the best day PvP so far. We'll say that he's 0-3. So although he's had some pretty decent games, especially in the MiStrZZZ series, definitely seems to be something he's been struggling with so far today.
I mean, it's definitely going to be difficult because these sort of exchanges in PvP, like using ramps or using things like these, don't play that much into how the maps look. Like, yes, they can be a little bit different. Like this ramp is more tricky to control, but I'm not sure that changing a map is going to help much unless Doodle has like a specific idea of what he wants to do on it. Because it's such a like straightforward matchup in terms of like, okay, if I have more Dragoons, then I just keep pushing. Like, there is no this thing where you have to sort of guess too much except the initial build. Once you start with the initial idea of, is it a 2-gate, is it going to be a Reaver, is it going to be... Once you have that sort of nailed down, the matchup tends to stabilize. It's like a specific point where these matchups go straight forward, and that's going to be really difficult to... If your opponent is better than you, they're going to get like that small little advantage everywhere, because you don't have these moments where your matchup is better.
Yeah, very true. Well, with that, folks, I believe both of our players are ready to go in game number 2 here of our losers finals. Map will be Radion. So let's go ahead and jump into the action.
Let's do it.
And here we go, spawning top right, currently up 1-0 in this final series. From Sweden, it is OyA.
And his opponent, top left, as the red Protoss from Canada, it is going to be DoodleDoodle.
DoodleDoodle, man. All right, first pylon's down for both players so far. Nothing being proxied, no probes in the center of the map, so we should have a pretty standard looking opener here from both these guys so far.
I'm wondering if OyA's gonna double gate again, just because if he felt that this game was going the way he wanted it to go, he might want to do the exact same thing.
It's also just been working for him today, right? I believe it was a 2-gate opener that OyA used to defeat MiStrZZZ, the
Sure,
one
yes.
game as well. So, you know, if he's able to just put some pressure out on the map, get some good scouting, he seems to be reacting well. So no gas on the main here so far. It might be.
Yeah.
You might have called it. Wow. Okay.
I mean, it makes sense. Like if you're playing right and you think that you can end the game with a 2-gate yourself, then it's probably not a good idea to try to gamble it on playing a different thing. Like for example, let's say the opponent goes DT and you forgot the rub or you get it a little bit late, something like this. Like why gamble with that when the 2-gate is something that is like straightforward for you and you think it's gonna work?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, very true. Even if, you know, if it isn't straightforward, or if it is straightforward, you can put pressure. If it isn't straightforward, you're prepared for it. It's never a bad call here. Still, though, I mean, there will be advantages for Doodle here. That core is very quick, just about completed here.
And there is one thing that is different from the previous game. That pylon for Doodle is at the ramp. You can now use the ramp and a shield battery to fight this. In the previous game,
he's been doing that consistently.
Yeah, in the previous game, he had the pylon and the shield battery in a position where it was very awkward for him to try to get to it. This is different. He has that pylon in a good position. He can now use that. The pro also survives, which means he can scout that this is going to be continued with the gas. So let's see how exactly we're going to have the response from Doodle. If he adds, yeah, that's the shield battery. And I wonder if he's going to make a Zealot or a Dragoon. Because the
Dragoon, it looks like.
does make less damage. But it is better if he goes out now and starts to poke with it, which he is.
Yeah, he's going to start tearing down this first probe, I'm sure.
No, the probe is going to be on the ramp again. You remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you
okay,
locked
no,
the Dragoon up. Oh, that would be
Fine,
a nightmare. So here we go. OyA trying to start right-clicking this first Zealot. You know, obviously the shield battery is complete. I would have liked to see him use the probe for a little extra damage here. I think he could have done it. But
I mean, this is not the worst thing for either player, because the truth is that, yes, you had a shield battery, but the shield battery eventually runs out of energy. However, that was a trade of one Zealot for one Zealot and a probe. Now, you have still two Dragoons that can still do a lot of damage.
There's also two more Zealots run up this ramp as well. Man, OyA just finding damage.
This is still working. This is still working for OyA, yeah. This is because the probe drilling plus the kills. And remember, there's 2 gates still for OyA at home, and he is transitioning to Dragoon.
Yeah, eventually that's going to be constant 2-gate Dragoon production.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I don't know. Doodle, maybe he's got to get out on the map here, try to get a little bit of pressure done, because he definitely lost quite a few probes. He can't feel too comfortable. Oh, there is a Citadel being built, though, from OyA.
Yeah, we don't know if it got scouted, but to be fair, it might not matter. Like, if you already have such a lead in the economy, and you have 2 gates into 1 gate, like, I'm not really sure that matters that much.
He canceled it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, smart. Why not? Why keep it when it's scouted anyway? Essentially, if you're like, if you think you're ahead, and I think he is like significantly ahead because of the economical damage.
Yeah, it's just not a risk that's worth doing, of course. I mean, DT is always a risk, whether you're, you know, ahead or behind. And given how much of a lead OyA has here, it just doesn't seem to make sense for him to risk it.
The only thing I like the thing I really like about what OyA did with this is because when you castle the Citadel and you just go into the higher Dragoon count and then the Robo, well, you know your opponent thinks this is the T, right? So he's going to go ops first. So you could either hit a timing with it, or you could expand and you have more time for the Reaver and the Shuntry. Assuming the game goes that long. So that does two things, right? You first of all take that, but also you probably are going to see a delay. Wait, what is that? Oh,
it is an observatory being built here. Okay.
If I remember correctly, what Bonnet used to say is that when you are going with your first observer, your Dragoons should be in front of your observer, so that if the observers cross paths, your Dragoons will definitely kill their observer before you lose yours. And
it's just so fragile, right? The observer,
yeah.
You kind of have to babysit it like that.
And I think for now it seems like it's just going to be a contain, which this is probably the only thing that is risky a little bit for OyA, because remember there is a shield battery. You could go down, take a few shots, and go back. Probably OyA would still change the position of the Dragoon, and you wouldn't be able to get that much value from it. But I guess also getting down that ramp is probably too risky.
Like you said, it's that like upwards facing reverse ramp. Yeah. It looks like a pain to move down for sure. It could be difficult. Three zealots. I feel like that's usually almost kind of a go sign. Oh, he might be waiting for a Reaver here as well.
Maybe. I mean, he's gonna scout the natural, which essentially says you have to get out and you have to go. Because otherwise, there's going to be a point where the natural is going to start kicking in, and at that point, you probably aren't getting out. So there's still a little bit of time. So I wonder if he's just going to wait for Reaver. Another option is to start dropping your units outside, but the problem is that our observer for Doodle has left, so we don't see OyA's observer. And if we don't see OyA's observer, we can't really elevate because we're going to lose everything.
Well, there is a Reaver out on the field here.
Is it going to be able to shoot properly through this ramp?
I don't know. We know that. Oh no! Yeah, that.
Okay, one shot. Well, there is a shield battery. We forgot about that one. So.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not that bad.
Yeah, he was able to retreat to it and heal up very quickly. So there might be room for this here. OyA, though, bringing a couple more Dragoons over. Obviously already started his own Nexus, so here we go. Missed.
Everything.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if that's going to be enough damage, like with that Reaver, but if he keeps doing this and eventually the Dragoons are really low in HP, you could just straight up counter and win. Because one shot is going to explode all of the Dragoons. Like, if too much damage it gets poked out this way, you are risking the ability to hold this later.
Here we go. Dragoons diving in on that lead Reaver. First one falls. Good Scarabs, though. Couple Zealots coming in to kind of do some tanking. But actually, Doodle losing all of his own Zealots here. Just trying to get down his ramp.
Well, that's probably not enough to counter at this point. Yeah, and now for OyA, the expansion is taken.
Yeah, he's got his expansion up, couple of Reavers of his own, so he's not only ahead on natural timing, but also Reaver count. Has the Observer, still scouting everything inside the main and natural here of Doodle. It's definitely OyA's game to lose here.
He goes that's it. That's in PvP. That's a little bit like it's not very nice to do that when you're playing PvP.
To take a third base, yeah. Like it's just rude.
Like if you're taking a third, you're saying, dude, like I got you. Like there's nothing you can do because it's very risky. Like if you start putting a lot of minerals, imagine 4 zealots in an engagement where both players are sort of equal. Like you can lose that. You can lose the game on that. But OyA's saying, nah, I got this. I want this.
Yeah, no big deal. Like, oh shoot.
It's
I mean, he's got 3 Reroos now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the Nexus, obviously, it's also the probes that you're producing from it, stuff like that, but yeah, it's...
Whoa!
Oh!
I thought he had it. Oh man, that shuttle
speed,
is red.
That speed almost killed it and barely survived, so...
Still, great reaction timing there from Doodle to save that shuttle. I thought it was done.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
me
he
too.
was going to lose both his Reavers there. Oh, man.
Alright, so Doodle is gonna now take his natural. He needs probably more production.
Yeah,
He could drop the natural if he sees OyA moving out. The problem is that the supply is so in favor of OyA that he can always leave something like that. And I think he's gonna know this because he's gonna see the army size and he's gonna be fine with fighting that.
Yeah, I mean, Doodle has that observer over the natural, sees that, you know, the saturation is looking great. Oh, so close again. OyA really wants that shuttle, but not quite able to get it.
It's a very
Good job
open
by
map.
Doodle.
You can wait for the shuttle. You don't have to rush it. Like the map is so large, you can just chill and wait until the Reavers come.
Oh, man, still, well, he should heal it up with his shield battery.
True.
Well,
Now you're
it looks
thinking
like
a Protoss.
Yep, now I'm thinking like a Protoss, man. Looks like he's gonna go out. He's realized he's got to get something done here. He's very far behind economically. Wow, well done from OyA there to pick off the scouting observer as well. So Doodle making some moves though. He's at least out on the map here, starting to apply some pressure to OyA. But as we can see from OyA's rally here, so many Dragoons, 3 Reavers even sitting there. His third base is already mining. He's got gas at it, even a cannon for good measure. I mean, OyA's just, he's sitting very pretty right now.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is that if you look at the supply, they're actually relatively close, right? You'd think, wait, how is it that you have 3 bases and I have only 2 and I'm just like, what, 19 supply down? Well, it's kind of the problem with like how PvP works when you have a certain amount of supply. You either start adding more gates and starting to produce from more stuff, or you're gonna still slowly kind of build similar until you really explode in that economy of the third base and so on. So you could technically still lose a game that you have an advantage like this in terms of supply if you take a horrible engagement, but I don't think OyA is gonna do that.
You have to take a horrible engagement and build too many probes or something like that.
No, you can run into, like, for example, a choke, and then you lose like 5, 6, 10 Dragoons before you kill 2. Like, that happens sometimes, but it's usually that kind of stuff only happens when you swap from the compositions that we see right now. So I don't think we're gonna get there. Like when you get into Archon, Zealots, stuff like that. In here
we go.
Oh my god, look at the 4 Reavers. Like, yeah, I would run too. Like,
Yeah, there's no way he's engaging that cleanly. Here we go. Big surround though. OyA flanking from
that's a lot of
mid-left.
Reavers that you're fighting into, and not all of your army is fighting yet.
Yeah, OyA's Reavers.
That's not
as
a good engagement for OyA.
clumped.
Because look at the Dragoons now. The bottom Dragoons aren't even engaging. Oh, the
Yeah,
Reavers. Oh my. Okay, now the Reavers are dead and everything dies. Yeah,
Things starting to
that's
look a little better here for OyA.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was possible to do a little bit worse or a little bit better by both of them, but essentially the amount of army that OyA had was just way too large.
Yeah, it's just been overwhelming here. We're seeing 12 Dragoons starting to march in here. Third base, you know, obviously still plugging away there from OyA. Dives on the last remaining Reaver, and I think that's gonna do it. Oh, big, nice Scarab connect.
Yeah.
Well done from Doodle
It's
there.
nice, although I don't think it's gonna change much. But yeah, it was a nice shot. Truth be told, like that last fight that we saw before, if OyA didn't back with this first Dragoons, he would probably lose like again about 8 Dragoons and kill 2. But in this scenario where he just pulled off and then started to pincer with his own Reavers, then yeah, that was like too much.
Yeah, it's looking like the end is near here. GG is type from Doodle. Well played. OyA will be taking the second place spot and moving his way into the round of 16 there over Doodle. But yeah, very well done. Man, we got to see some pretty exciting matches here today.
Yeah, difficult for Doodle, but he did it fine. And it was not an easy match, so no shame there. It was just, but he's gonna have to practice a little bit more because OyA is he is a beast. Like, let's be fair. That's
He's
not.
a beast.
You're gonna have to really bring your best game, and even then, it might not be enough against somebody like that. But
That's the BSL, man.
yeah, I mean, we are getting into what, round of 16, so like, this is kind of tip top what we got.
Yeah, as we saw from the names earlier, for those remaining in the group draws, man. I mean, when you're talking about folks like Bonneth, when you're talking about Mihu, DeWalt, Ziki, Nyoken, I mean, the list goes on and on. We really are, for 2024, down to the best of the best residing outside Korea. So it's very exciting to see how this tournament's been flushing its way out so far, and I'm very excited as we finally are getting into the round of 16 here.
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, we're also going to have today the group the group draw, which means that we're going to see who ends up with it. That's going to be interesting as well. I'm definitely going to watch that.
Just to see how the groups end up playing out, because a lot of these players have some big strengths, big weaknesses, right? So it's always interesting to see how those groups kind of flesh out and see who might be in a good position to make it to that round of 8 from here on out. But yeah, as we said, that is Group F for the day. Obviously, MiStrZZZ making out in first place, very well done. From the Polish Protoss, and then OyA coming out in second place, our Swedish Protoss. So 2 new additions to the round of 16, and yeah, that is also our final group of the round of 16 here. So very well done. Got to see some very exciting games today. Of course, Doodle and Jimin both playing some fantastic StarCraft as well to make it this far. I'm sure we'll see them in future seasons. But yeah, before we call it, and get into the group draw, I definitely wanted to thank all of our Patreons and all of our big supporters here, continuing to make BSL happen season over season here. We do have, a goal for next season's BSL. Please make sure to help support if you can. Zero obviously designs a gorgeous looking hoodie here that every single one of our Patreon supporters will be included in. So if you want to be a part of history, folks, just give us some donations here. But yeah, at the Bombastic General level, $100 a month, we have My Fleeting Dream. Thank you very much. At the Colonel level, $50 a month, we have StRyKeR, and our winner today, MiStrZZZ. Thank you both very much for your contributions. At the Major Plus level, $30 a month, we have Tim, Cause, and Tupacalypse. Thank you so much. And at the Bombastic Major level, $20 a month, we have Kevin, Yu Jiang, Madinho, Stephen Robertson, Surikata, Machine, Valtina Bulai, Gordon Bradley, KJ Streaming Channel, Daniel Lopez, LML, and Nicholas Schuler. Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for each and every single one of your contributions. CRVT, the big 2K. We got Jaziri, John, Pancakes Guys, Science Vessels, Anonymous. Thank you all so much for your big donations. They go, yeah. Oh, this is the previous season's donations. So yeah, these are last season's donations. Thank you all for making this season happen, and we're looking for more supporters for future BSL seasons. So if you can and you can spare it, please continue to donate where you can. But yeah, thank you all, folks. We appreciate each and every single one of your contributions, and I think that's it for us today here. Cat's Paw, just wanted to say thanks again for commentating with you. It's been a big pleasure, man. I really enjoy your insight, and I think we had a good time here today. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for having me, and well, maybe next time, see you. And till then, well, more great games, and I'll be watching them. So thank you all.
Absolutely. I'll be right here beside you, man. And of course, as always, thanks to Zero for making this all happen. You know, please continue to tune in here and see how this BSL round of 16 draw ends up working out. Because yeah, it's gonna be exciting. All right, see you guys next time. Take it
See
easy.
you. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Perfect.